He is the community manager for Boundless, which is the studio at Scopely that creates Marvel Strike Force. And he has a difficult job because he's not the CEO of Boundless. He's not the CEO of Scopely.
Okay. We know who he is. I mean, he's also the face of the game. But yeah, I think what we're trying to say here is that he has no authority to do anything, which is true. He only communicates. He is just the communicator. So yeah, in that regard, you can't be like, Cerebro, why do you give us more gold? Why you do this, Cerebro? Why you hurting me? Why, Cerebro? Why did you do it? Like, yeah, it's not his fault. He didn't do it. He can't do anything about it. But, I think you could still be a little salty with him for not communicating the problems completely and communicating to us clearly what's going on the other side. So there is definitely, I would still hold him somewhat accountable for this whole situation that we're in with the game and the lack of communication. That is, basically his job is communication, and I don't really feel it. The blogs are really full of not enough information, especially from a leader and captain perspective. When these blogs come out, they are missing so much information that would help us so much that I don't even feel would be that damaging for them to release. And it would definitely be more ethical for them to release more information to get away from the fear of missing out portion of their sales strategy, which I feel that they very much lean into, much more than is actually ethical.
He is a guy who listens to our concerns, who listens to the issues that we raise, and he ultimately does his best to respond to them and to try to take our questions. And I'll just say, as somebody in life who's had to answer a lot of tough questions at times, some of you know I'm a lawyer and I get asked tough questions by judges or in the media or whatever. I know he's got a tough job. And so please keep that in mind when you hear his questions and answers here. He's not always going to have an answer at the top of his head. He doesn't know what I'm going to ask, but I think he hopefully knows that I'm going to try to be fair with him. And I have spent a lot of time gathering questions from the community, and I know this is a time. Yeah, I mean.
All right, his own community. I mean, that's one of the problems here. So he has gathered questions from his community, which is different than my community, right? And I've seen that difference come out. Like, people on his server are talking differently about the game than the people on my server. We're still valid. We still play the game. Many of us, still paying customers, even though I think pretty much everybody has stopped spending at this point. But still, we have spent in the past. Maybe we'll spend again. Who knows? We certainly play the game, and they want us to log in daily. And I know pretty much everybody on my server is logging in daily at least. And we're not necessarily overlapping with his audience. So I think it would be better if this would happen more often. Monthly, Cerebro should go, do one with him, but then go to, do all the content creators, get more questions answered. Get more, because I know there's going to be a lot of questions in this that aren't going to get answered that we would have. So here we go.
And a lot of questions. We got tons, and I'm going to try to display some of them directly. But I thought as a starting point, I'm showing the blog up here. If people haven't read it, you should. I'll put a link to it in the description of this.
Why? All right. Yeah. Do you really need to? Why does all the information have to come in shitty blog posts? They could do better than this. This is like, I would start with this as one of the big problems, is that all the information is being delivered in these shitty blog posts. Have you heard of a fucking calendar? Could you put a calendar on the site with the events and information on there to make it easier for us to understand what the fuck is going on at a glance instead of digging through months of blog posts? Because, yeah, when he was making this video, this was front and center. By the time some people are getting to this is already going to be buried under like 3 or 4 other blog posts. Sometimes there's contradictory information between the blog posts. Please, we need a better system than this. This is not something, this feels like homework at a certain point. Please bring us bring us a better system of communication than this.
This video. But this was, I think, something we really anticipated. There's a lot of stuff in here. Can you help everyone understand how do you guys see the direction of the game? What do you guys what are you guys trying to accomplish at a kind of a high level here?
Sure. So I think what we're talking about here is like the vision for the game, right? It's the type of thing that
I'll tell you right now, the vision for like the rest of the year is like nothing. Nothing's going to happen for the rest of the year. We're just going to coast. We're going to release, 3-4 characters every month. You're going to buy them. That's the vision for the rest. There's like hardly anything that's going to happen this year. Next year, we're going to release Grand Arena at some point. That'll be an exciting change. Maybe this year they'll put in some really shitty war changes. But there's not much going on this year. There's no new campaigns. There's no new PvE content, which is, something that I would really want to see. And Doom 2 might hit, I guess. But even then, it's just kind of going to be, very few people are even going to get into Doom 2. So for many players, not anything is going to happen for the rest of the year. So it's a very shitty second half preview because almost nothing's going to happen.
Someone like Jason Bender, who's our creative director, is really in charge of managing, and there's a couple of other people as well. But you've got a bunch of different areas of the game, and you kind of try to do your best to make them line up and to make them work with each other. We've got, for example, you get like new features that come out. And then you try and do your best to say like, okay, how does that line up with how we're supporting like a Marvel theatrical release, right? And then like, how does that line up with, some other new characters that we have, in the pipeline? There's lots of different, like what you would call tracks for the game. And it's just trying to get them all to line up and trying to make sure that you're giving a good amount of attention to each of those tracks. And I think what happens is when because a lot of the game is like feeling, right? Like a lot of times when you hear feedback from players, it's they don't say like I necessarily say I think this. A lot of times it's I feel this, right? I feel like we're not getting enough of this resource, or
all right, we've switched to saying that because it is less argumentative. That's why we've switched to saying feels bad instead of is bad, because we get shouted down by the company, if we try to say we don't get enough gold. He, in fact, verbatim has said we do get enough gold. So we have to say we feel like we don't get enough gold. We have to talk this way. We've been forced into that dialogue. I don't like it. I think it's bullshit. So we don't get, some people don't get enough gold. I don't get enough gold to have fun. All right, that's what it is. I don't get enough gold to have fun. I get enough gold to spend 1 million a day, but I don't get enough to have fun. So I think people would like to have fun, and basically having fun means putting yourself in a position where you're going to spend. Now, no one's doing that anymore. No one's spending, which is great, but no one's having any fun. So the next step after everyone not spending, which is where we're at, is now the next step is now we fucking stop playing the game. So if you don't make the game fun, right? So listen to us when we say, I don't have enough gold to have fun. I don't feel, that's what we mean by I don't feel like this is happening. It means I'm not having fun, motherfucker. Fix your shit or I'm going to quit.
I feel that this is too hard, or what I try and do is I try and take that feedback that the community gives, and then try and quantify it for the team, and try to give them very specific, pieces of feedback on how we can move.
All right, look, I got to play this right now because I want to play you some of the feedback that he gave to the team. It's number 4 here. Where's number 4? I was hoping I could see this a little better.
So you really don't need to be too concerned about that.
Okay.
Increased a lot of our gold payouts in the game.
Oh, nice.
So you really don't need to be too concerned about that.
Okay.
Our
Yeah. You hear that shit? We've increased a lot of our gold payouts. You don't need to be concerned about that.
Latest version of the game, we increased a lot of our gold payouts in the game.
Oh, nice.
So you really don't need to be too concerned about that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the voice of the community. That's how he quantifies it. Everybody has enough gold. Everybody has enough gold. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I heard everybody and I ignored them.
Forward. So yeah, the vision for the game, it's a thing that all of our departments are always working on, right? We've got the combat pod, which is the character designer guys that you see the most on strike time. We've got our mission designers. There are different pods that work on different new features. You've got our live operations, and so it's a bunch of cooks in this kitchen all trying to work together to make this really awesome gumbo.
Yeah, well, one thing I've noticed, I mean, I've seen a trend in the game since I've been playing, I think 16, 17 months. There's been more of a focus on raiding as an alliance more recently. There's been this.
No. I mean, that's cool. You feel that way. I guess you feel that way. There's always been a focus on raiding. From almost day one. From launch, there's been a focus on raiding. Raiding's the most important game mode. It has the biggest rewards. It's huge. It's fucking huge. So, yeah, that's not new. That's what the game is. War might have been more important when you started because it was a new feature and everyone was tricking themselves into believing that it was like super important, which it isn't. Raids are still the most important thing. And what it does seem like they are doing is they are doubling down on how important raids are by locking, blue ISO and tier 16 into them. But they've always put very important shit in raids, and raids have always been the most important. That's why for 3 years, I have seeked out alliances that do the best at raids. Because honestly, there was nothing else to look in for an alliance for the longest time because war wasn't even a thing. Raids are an older game mode. So yeah, I don't know where that conception would come from, but let's see where that goes.
Focus on, you had Silver Surfer released through the raid milestones. We had the Doom raids, they had Blue ISO released. Now you've got this teal gear that's going to be released through the raids. Obviously generating a lot of controversy. What I thought would be helpful is for people to understand what are you guys trying to accomplish with that? What is your reasoning behind it? Just so people understand.
All right, look, because it's the game. But all right, let's hear what Cerebro has to say. But yeah, it's honestly the raids are the game. It's the game. It's the game that we play is raids. So that's what they're accomplishing, is that they're still releasing the game that they made 3 years ago, and they are iterating on what they released 3 years ago. But okay, all right.
Dan, what your view is?
What is the intention?
Yep.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, what's the goal essentially? How do you view this changing the game, and what are you trying to accomplish with it? Just so people understand your perspective.
Sure. Well, the ultimate goal for just about everything we do is engagement, right? We want to give people a reason to,
play the game nonstop and give us all your fucking time and money.
Good reasons to log in and play every day. That's the ultimate goal. I mean, like it's one of the golden rules that are.
Yes, it'll be good when you log in every day, because you'll be addicted, and then we can do whatever we want because you won't stop playing, because you will have a sunk cost fallacy, either money or time, and then we can do anything we want to do, and you won't go anywhere. So that's the goal, because that allows us to be as lazy as possible. That's the goal.
Our former president of the studio, who's now the chief product officer for Scopely. So that's great. Like, he even went higher up into the company so he can help spread this idea around, is let's make games that people want to play every single day. And I think that's a great mission statement, because just...
What? No, make games that are fun, motherfucker. and then the other thing will come. Jesus Christ. I mean, there's your problem right there. If that's your mission statement, is to make games that you feel like you need to log into every day. Like, that's what Marvel Strike Force is. You do feel like you have to log in every day. And if you don't, you will miss out on like $200 to $400 worth of shit, which is true. If you don't log in every fucking day, you will lose out on $200 to $400 worth of shit. Your alliance will kick you out. Everything in the game is designed to have you log in tomorrow. Every fucking function of the goddamn game is to get you to log in tomorrow. Not to have fun even, but to just fucking grab you and make you come in tomorrow and make you feel like shit if you don't. So that's holy shit. How does this relate to raids and their plan? What the fuck? Answer the question.
Just about everybody in the studio can use that.
Yeah, I mean, to answer, if this is his answer to the question, the reason why raids are a big part of the game is because your alliance is a big part of the game. The other 23 people that you play with are a big part of the game. And if you don't log in tomorrow, they will lose their shit on you and kick you the fuck out of the alliance and then let somebody else in. And then you will feel like shit. And then you will have a harder time getting into alliance. God forbid you are in a fucking cluster. You're going to get blacklisted and you won't be able to get back into the cluster. These little shitty groups of people that play the game, present company excluded, are very fickle about who they play the fucking game with, and everybody knows this. And if you fall in with a good alliance, there is a shit ton of pressure from your peers to log in every day and be like a fucking robot. My alliance included. If one of my alliance members doesn't log in tomorrow, it's their ass. They're out Sunday. Everybody knows that. The fuck, man? Holy shit. So that's the answer to why we're into raids, because raids force you into a system where you log in every day because you have pressure of 23 people begging you basically to log in every day. Please fucking God. Log in every day. You have to, or else you're kicked the fuck out. You're going to feel bad. And you're going to feel bad for letting people down. The longer you play with your alliance, the more like shit you're going to feel if you don't log in for a day. And that could be a day where you're in the fucking hospital. That could be a day where someone that you love comes down with a horrible illness. It could be a day where you have fucking COVID-19. It could be any kind of fucking day. And you will be detrimentally affected in the game, perhaps permanently. If you're a competitive player, you are fucked if you don't log in every fucking day. So yeah, they're doubling down on raids because they want you to feel like you're fucked if you don't log in every fucking day.
To what they're doing, right? If we're ever straying from that, if we're ever getting to the point where like, hey, what we're doing is actually getting people away.
If we ever let you take a break for even a fucking day, we fucked up. We fucked up. Video games were not always like this. This is wrong. This is wrong. This should not be the way it is. Honestly, this should not be the way it is. It's what we all signed up for. I'm not blindsided by this. I knew when I signed up for this game, I was going to play a game that needed me to log in every fucking day. I knew that. It's fine for me. Okay. But it's not fine for a lot of people. I don't think it's fine for, the content creator giving this interview. I don't think it's okay for him to do that. It's not sustainable. Even if it is okay for even a year. Let's say it's a year where like there's like a global pandemic, right? And you got a lot more free time and you're not doing a lot of things. So it's okay for a year because of, some kind of weird hypothetical global pandemic where everybody's trapped in their houses, right? Like maybe the worst time that we've ever kind of lived through in America in our lifetimes. Let's say it's something like that. And hypothetically, maybe at the end of that, you realize, man, I really don't have time for this shit. But man, now I've really got 23 people relying upon me, and I've spent like maybe hypothetically, $40,000 to $50,000 on the game. Hypothetically, I would feel really bad about not playing because of all the shit that I invested in. Hypothetically.
From wanting to log in every day. That's a massive problem because that really violates our golden rule. So at the highest level, I'd say that's what we want to accomplish. We want to have something that gives people a good reason to log in and play every day.
Yeah, one thing that people ask me is, do the devs actually play the game? Are there devs who play Marvel Strike Force, and to what extent?
Absolutely. So there's actually a we have so we live on Slack right now. If you guys don't know what Slack is, it's I guess you could kind of crudely think of it as kind of like Skype, but it's a lot easier to have like breakout rooms and conversations with people. So we just live in this Slack universe right now. And we have a bunch of different Slack channels dedicated to like all the different parts of the game. One of these Slack channels we have is for some of the high level players in the game. So there's like almost 30 people in this chat of devs where we are, what you would consider to be high level players. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we absolutely play the game. I just think what happens is there's a perception that
I think that there is an alliance that we've faced in war once that I believe is made up of developers. Does anyone know what the name of that alliance is? I know we fought them once in war and someone was like, hey, this is the developers. But I don't remember what the fucking name of the alliance was. So I think that there is this alliance of, 23, 24 people that do play hardcore and competitively. I don't know if that makes things better or not. I don't know why the guy in charge of communication isn't checking that scene out a little more, because he's the one that communicates. But okay.
And a lot of it's true, is like, we don't play the game the way that some players do.
I mean, I imagine they can fund themselves with cores as much as they want. Yeah. The alliance that is playing hardcore, I mean, they might have some advantages that normal players don't have, which is not right. I mean, I want them to check out the game out and know what the fuck is going on and make some changes. But you're not going to make those changes if you don't play the game like everybody else. Like, okay, fine. Have all the advantages. Get yourself some cores. Get into a high-level alliance. Turn on auto raids or whatever the fuck you have, and do that. But then turn it off for a day and just live like a normal player would for a day. One fucking day. Take one day. Live like one of us, who plays the game religiously or whatnot. Like they're addicted. Play as if you're addicted for a day. And see what that experience is like, and if you think that that is healthy. Just any one of you do that and report it to the rest of the team. Are you doing that? That's my follow-up. That's what I would ask. Can you please do that? Can you, Cerebro, play like one of us for one day and log how much time it takes you, see how it feels, and report that information back? Please do that. Please do that before you talk to anyone else again. Please do that.
And I'll give you a good example of this is, when we first announced that we were adding ISO 8 requirements to Doom Raid, one of the things that players came back with is, oh man, they're trying to break up this awesome strategy that we came up with of trying to send everybody just up a middle lane, right?
My strategy, by the way. Thank you, Cerebro, for the shout out. That is 100% Mr. Hartgrave. Go back on my channel. I almost can guarantee you I am the first one to come out with that. Did it with Valley. Actually, Valley was one of the first people that I proposed that to. All 8 up the middle. Easy 30%. Very much a Mr. Hartgrave shout out. Thank you, Nick.
Instead of having everybody having individual lanes, we send everybody up a middle lane, and that's how we can do this. They're trying to break that up.
Hail Hartgrave.
We actually didn't know people were doing this.
Oh, was he really? Was he really? Did he beat me? I don't know, man. I was out there pretty early on it. I don't know. It's like, I don't even know if the video is even on my channel anymore. It's so goddamn old. All right, look it up. Well, anyways, it was a Reminex and Mr. Hartgrave idea. So shout out to both of us. I mean, I think a lot of high-level alliances probably hit upon it at the same time. But credit where credit's due. Hey, Rem's a smart guy. He was in a top alliance. We know what's up. We can do math better than some people can do math.
This. And that probably doesn't help our case of like, oh, well, you don't play the game. It's like, no, it's not that we don't play the game. It's just that we are not always playing it exactly the same way that you are. So,
so what did your high-level players do when you put in the ISO 8? Like, I feel like we dodged that question. We got confused about that question. Like, let's focus that question. So your high-level players, great, okay. How did you handle needing to have ISO level 4 and 5? Did they focus their rosters ahead of time because they knew they were going to implement ISO level 4 and 5 that way? Like, did they have inside information that would help them greatly, that would have helped us if it would have been communicated earlier? Please let us play like you do, okay? I think that's the main problem here. My main problem, and this is going to be the problem throughout the whole fucking thing, is communication. If you communicated to us early that your plan was to lock the Doom raids behind ISO level 4 and 5, people wouldn't have gone as wide with their ISO disbursement. They would have been more narrow, like I was. I didn't actually have any problems, but that's because I was always narrow focused. I want ISO level 1 or ISO level 5. Now, the developers are the fucking developers, so they know what they're going to do before anyone else, so they have an extremely unfair advantage on the game in that they actually fucking control it. So that's crazy. It's fucking crazy. Please give us that advantage. I don't think it would be that much for you to give us that advantage. You're actually kind of learning a little bit. I'll say the one piece of information that's in this blog is that you are going to need, and they're not even specific about it. I wish they would be more specific about it and help us a little more. You will need blue ISO to get into Doom Raid 2. What level of fucking blue ISO will we need? Level 2? Level 1, level 2, level 3? Tell us that. Why don't we get to know that? That would be helpful. I'm just going to assume level 3 because I just assume worst case at this point. So it's fine. It's really fine. I don't need it, but it would be friendly if you would tell us because your developers in your top level alliance, they know what it's going to be. They knew about the other ISO. They know everything before we do. They have more information than we do. So if their experience is good, it's because they know everything. So give us that same courtesy that you give yourselves if you're enjoying the game. If your people that play the game are enjoying the game and they think it's fair, some of that might just be because they know what the fuck is going to happen and they can react to it better than anyone else can. Because we often do not know what the fuck is going on. Even when you put it in a blog, it gets lost very easily. Calendar, okay? Please do better at communicating. And then you will have a happier player base. It is that fucking simple.
Because there's different strategies and stuff for the game, right? Like that's one of the reasons why there are so many different content creators and you get guys who have like differences of opinion say, hey, I'm playing.
Not really. I mean, maybe this is the Mr. Hartgrave shout out. Most of them agree, dude. Most of them agree. I mean, we're even sitting here in my room saying that, Reminex and Mr. Hartgrave told everybody to put 8 up the middle before anybody else. I mean, a lot of times I'll come out with something and then everybody else will say my thing too. So who the fuck knows? Yeah, there's not that much difference, and it's becoming less like that every day. The more the game pushes us into this player's journey shit, where we're all kind of pushed into the same path, you're getting rid of that thing where we all have different things to say. It's all very much the same. I'm literally covering someone else's video right now. It's so fucking the same.
This game this way, and I'm doing really well. And then you have somebody else that comes in and says, well, actually, I'm doing it this way, and I think that my way is better than your way. So, you're always
self-report right there. Cerebro just did a self-report. He totally checks out my channel. He absolutely checks. I think I'm the only content creator that will drop a video that'll say, listen to me and no one else. Like actually literally say, I'm right and everyone else is wrong. The only one. Everybody else is pretty happy to agree with each other. I'm about the only one that doesn't. So self-report, on Cerebro, totally watching Mr. Hargrave's channel. Hi, Cerebro. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit me up on Discord. Let's talk. Come on, buddy. You watch the videos. Partake in the Twitch chat. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go for it. Win yourself some major cred in the community. Come on with Mr. Hargrave. We will have a great time.
That, but yeah, we absolutely do play the game. We understand some stuff, and occasionally players are going to come up with things that we didn't think of, right? That's happened a number of times, and I think that
how the fuck did we get here from where we started? All we wanted to know is why are you focused so much on raids? And we're on, or do you guys play the game? And he's like, oh yeah, we play differently than you. We play differently than you because we know what the fuck we're gonna do. So we play differently because we're better informed. You guys don't know what the fuck you're doing, and you come up with weird shit to do, and you try to game the system because you're gamers and you're weird. You fucking nerds. So yeah, I don't know. Next question.
our combat team has really embraced that, right? Mm-hmm. Like at this point, they want to see what players are going to come up with. But with this new team, with like the skill team, they're like, hey, you guys show us. How are you going to build these skill teams? So, yeah, we're not going to think of everything. We're not always going to play the game exactly the way you guys do. But that's why we have this dialogue.
Okay. All right. Like, oh my God. Number one, we don't have a dialogue because you're talking to one person. Number two, like, you're so not answering the fucking question, and you're not really addressing the time. Time, motherfucker. That's what we're talking about here. Do you spend the time that we spend? Have you done a cycle of the game that a normal player would give? I mean, I'm not even going to say high level. I think everybody is trapped into the same fucking routine where we wake. Number one, let's just start from the morning. Everybody gets up early ass in the morning, and what's the first thing you do? You grab your phone. Just about everybody in this room, first thing that they do, unless they've quit or have made some serious efforts to quit, is grabbing their phone first thing in the morning. Before you even say good morning to your kids or kiss your fucking wife, you grab, or your husband or your dog or whoever, you grab your device and you instantly log in because your energy might be capped. So you instantly have, every day I wake up, I have a little bit of like, ooh, is my energy capped? I wake up like that. That's how I wake up. Every fucking day, I wake up like, ooh, is my energy capped? Oh shit, okay, I gotta get the game out. I gotta get this going. I gotta instantly make sure none of my energy's capped. You gotta check your arena, right? Because I might have dropped in the arena, so I gotta make sure to start getting, because it takes 15 minutes to cool down when I do the arena. Are you feeling that? We want you to feel that, what it feels like to be a normal player of the game. Yeah, there's an event going. My event energy is almost definitely capped. Do you know how bad it feels to wake up and have your energy capped? It happens every fucking day of the event. Every fucking day. Or you wake up and it's 100. It's like, oh, how long's it been like that for? Oh, God, cold sweat. Oh, I'm losing. Oh, God, I can't lose. That's what it's like. I'm being dramatic. It's not, I'm trying to let you into our brain. That's what my brain's doing. Me, I'm just like a fucking zombie in my bed for like 30 minutes. At least 30 minutes. Everybody in here, when they wake up in the morning, at least 30 minutes is like a fucking zombie in their bed, but their brain's like panicked to shit. And they're just trying to get as much stuff done as they can before they get out of bed. Some people waking up early because they do have to get ready for work. My fucking co-leader gets into the shower every morning. He takes his phone, he drops it into a waterproof fucking pouch so that he can do some of his daily shit in the shower. And I'm sure he's not the only one. Some motherfuckers are playing in their car on the way to work, being totally unsafe daily because your game is so fucking demanding. And then God even knows if you have a job where you can't get away from your desk, how many times you're taking breaks throughout the day to either blitz, deal with energy, deal with the store resets, deal with all the things that make you want to keep logging into the game. Deal with war attacks if you have to deal with that shit. All day, every 2 hours. And limiting blitz to 8 attacks a day has not helped. Has not helped enough. It needs to be lower. 4 would be great. 6 would be acceptable. But unless you do a day in the life of a Marvel Strike Force player, you have no fucking idea how much time it takes and how much mental strain it takes daily to keep up with this game and just do the things that the game wants you to do. And understand that your responsibility as a developer should be to limit that strain on an individual who is basically addicted to your game. That's the goal of the game, is to get you addicted to it, get you hooked on it, make it so you want to log in every day. That's your goal, is to make sure that we want to log in every day. Then your responsibility is to take care of us, motherfucker. We're giving you all of our time. You have to then take care of us. You should ethically try to take care of us a little better than you do. And the first way to do that is to experience this. Now, the next part of the journey that you need to experience is know that 8 o'clock every day, or whenever that store reset is, it's 8 o'clock for me because I'm on Eastern Standard Time. That's like magic hour. That's your most fun hour of the day. That's when you get your dopamine hit, right? All the new offers come in, the store resets, you get to spend money again because the milestones have reset. The blitz starts. That's usually another 30 minutes to an hour right there. War starts, 2 hours. It takes your entire evening away. Easily, this game takes everyone's entire evening away from when that reset hits until you go to bed. And guess what? Most players end up pushing themselves to stay awake at least an extra hour, maybe 2 hours past what they would normally do. Everybody here is probably up until 11 or midnight or 1 a.m., whatever the fuck your reset time is, because you want to get a jump on the next day, because if you don't, you're going to cap your energy. You're going to not be able to do your daily tasks. You're going to miss your donation. You're going to fuck up in some way. You're going to feel that if you fall asleep, I know everybody in this fucking my alliance, if they fall asleep before midnight, you're going to miss your raid attacks. Your alliance is going to start freaking out on you because you didn't do what you were supposed to do that you do every night. Just because you fell asleep, because you were tired. Feel that for a day. And then come back here and tell me about what is acceptable and what you're doing to make some effort to fucking improve that experience. Because this experience is not a good way to live. You've brought us here. We're giving it to you. We're logging in every day. We're devoted. We love your fucking game. We think it's awesome. I want to be happy when you call me a commander, motherfucker, but it pisses me off because it feels condescending. Okay? This is the problem in the community. And if you don't hear this from anybody, if you don't watch this video, if you don't listen to the people in my chat room, the people on my channel, my 5,000 subscribers, my 1,000 subscribers, I'm the number 4 fucking Twitch streamer right now, motherfucker. Go look it up. You think I'm like some kind of fringe case that's pissed off like this? This is half your fucking game that's pissed off like this. The only people that aren't following me are the people that don't know about me yet. So fucking listen. Go play the game the way we play the game and then adjust it ever so fucking slightly. Raise the cap on events from 100 energy to like 120 or 30 so we can sleep in an extra hour. Please do that at a fucking minimum. At a fucking minimum after 3 fucking years. You could do that. Just a little bit. Little things like that. They wouldn't even fucking hurt your bottom line. I really don't think it would. But it would help us immensely and it would show that you cared. Which we don't get at all. Not from this kind of fucking talk. This is ridiculous. Fucking absurd that you haven't spent 1 fucking day as a normal player would. Not even a high level player, just a normal fucking player that wants to do everything that's in front of them. As you've laid out for us. You could lay out less. It doesn't have to be as much. I don't think you have any interest in that though.
Right? You tell us. You let us know. If we're not thinking of something, please let us know.
I hope I let you know. I'm happy to let you know. You have to fucking listen when we let you know. I mean, quite honestly, I don't think this video has been made until today. So maybe you don't know. Maybe nobody's told you. Maybe they're all posts on Reddit that you don't read. I don't fucking know. But this video's out. This will be on YouTube. I hope people send it to you. And I hope you watch it. And I hope something changes. And I hope you give a shit.
Well, and that's what I wanted to, one thing I did want to ask you as well is I don't think people see what it is you do to gather input from the community. In other words, are you reading Reddit? How often are you reading Reddit? What are you? Where are you? Are you on Twitter and Reddit? Are you watching content creators? What are you doing to learn kind of what the community's views are?
Yeah, all those things. So we have a.
Oh yeah, all the above. I just do it very little. So I give like a little bit of time on Reddit, a little bit of time on Twitch, a little bit of time on Facebook. I don't do anything really too well. I just kind of dabble in each thing, kind of like how I dabble in the game. Just kind of fucking dabble in things, and I don't really get like the full picture on anything. So that's what I do.
So I use what's called, it's a sentiment tracking software. So it's a platform. So it pulls in comments from Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, Discord server, Instagram, and what it does is it's a real
Instagram. All right, who here is on Instagram for Marvel Strike Force? Let's get them out here. Who here is on Instagram? Who's on Instagram? Who's on Instagram talking about Marvel Strike Force? Yeah, Instagram's for children. Children don't play this game. Get the fuck off Instagram. We're not there.
really easy way for me to log in every day and see kind of what the big topics are. It takes all that stuff and then puts it in one place, and then also tries to, it creates like word clouds out of it, right? Like, so what are the characters that people are talking about the most? Which, by the way, like the most talked about character since she's been released has been Emma Frost. Like every single week, we always look at the word cloud and we're like, okay, is anybody going to dethrone Emma this week?
What the fuck is this? The fuck are you doing? The fuck, man? Just talk to your fucking envoys. Your envoys get all this shit, man. I get this shit on my doorstep. I live, eat, sleep, breathe this community, man. You don't need all that shit. And you're not even getting any of the fucking information you need. Talk to the leaders and fucking captains. You're not even talking to half the fucking... Mostly you're getting people that are bitching, because people on the internet are people that bitch. I haven't said shit on any of those platforms for like 3 years until I fucking lost my mind and came out here and started making videos. You're missing so fucking much of what the community actually feels about and informed. Most fucking people that complain have no fucking idea what the fuck is going on. They're just mad about some random shit. So yeah, Emma. Who the fuck knows why they're talking about Emma? Because she's not farmable? It really takes you a fucking word cloud to find out that Emma isn't farmable? How the fuck bad are you at your job? How the fuck bad are you at your job that you don't realize that people are upset about Emma because you left her unfarmable for like, 6 months? What the fuck? Yes, people are upset that you took one of the best characters and you made her like unobtainable. Yeah, duh. What the fuck? You need help with that? Who the fuck needs help with that? Just quit. Whose ever job that is to know that bit of information just needs to fucking quit. Because that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. Everybody knows, you guys know when you release characters and how long it takes before you make them farmable. And you can't figure out. You know damn well why you didn't release Emma. You were selling her. Do we get to run a word cloud on you? At what point do we get your information about which characters are selling and which ones aren't? Because I guarantee you the reason why you didn't release Emma is because she was selling so many fucking offers. Because so many people were saying how fucking great she is. Emma's great. Emma's great. Okay, great. So what was your response? Well, let's pump out some more Emma offers and get people to buy Emma because everyone loves Emma. So fuck, we'll sell her. Oh, look, they're buying the offers. This is fantastic. No, your response should be, you should know that people are talking about Emma because you fucking made her unobtainable. That's why they're talking about Emma. Fuck, man. It's not a mystery. Are you playing dumb? Don't play dumb with us.
Which is really hard to do. And it looks at sentiment, and so like, hey, these are the things that people say there is good, this is great, they're thanking us for, and they say like, this is bad, this is terrible, this is not working, right? And so I can click on all of those word clouds, those things in word clouds. If someone says like, not working, oh, I'm going to click on this, and it'll show me a list of all the things that people have said of like how things are not working in the game. So, even if I'm not interacting all the time, I guarantee you that we're reading it. And then what I have to do is...
No, you're not reading it. You're not. You're analyzing the data. And guarantee us that you're analyzing the data in a really weird way. Cool. That's great to know that you're analyzing the data in a really weird way. It'd be better if you analyzed the game directly, but okay.
Is I take all that feedback and I have to prioritize it with the team, right? Because if I go to the team and say, here's 50 things that the community has to say, they're like, okay, we don't know what to do with this, right? Like I have to look at that and be like, okay, here are the 5 most important things that were said last week that we should really discuss and talk about and see what we can do things about. Yeah, I think that's probably a good kind of overview of how that feedback loop works. And then, what comes out of those conversations, that ends up in our Friday blogs, right? So that, and sometimes the Friday blogs have a lot of interesting stuff. Sometimes it's just here's the blitzes that are coming next week. But if you guys read those every Friday at 2:00, that's really where we want to make sure that the outcomes of those conversations are made known to the players.
Yeah, I think that I hear you. I wanted people to see that because I see some of what you're doing, and some people don't. So I want everyone to see. So one question I actually have put up here that I thought would be, and I'll try to blow it up. It's too small, right? So let me.
I'm trying to figure out what my fucking take is on that. I do sympathize. There's a lot of shit that's wrong with the game. But I think that you're missing the bigger issues when you fixate on the weekly grievance. And maybe that's our fault as a community for always being on a weekly grievance. My messages tend to be bigger and more persistent. And I tend to ignore the daily grievance. I tend to not give a fuck about the daily grievance. The daily grievance isn't really important. Most daily grievances could be solved with compensation, which you do, which is great. I think that's fantastic. I don't think there's actually a problem with that. Most people are complaining about bugs and shit like that. You can load the game up with bugs, just compensate us. I don't actually give a fuck. But a major issue like Emma not being farmable, which was persistent for many, many months, with no communication whatsoever in the blog. I really have to stick to that sort of thing and be like, why the fuck? You've admitted that Emma was like number 1 for a long fucking time. And probably still is because she really isn't available and she's long past her usefulness. It's ridiculous. Yeah, this Yellow Jacket problem where Yellow Jacket isn't farmable for new players has been going on for a very long time. I am sure that's in your word clouds. And it's never been mentioned in the blogs. So I don't think this is working. I don't think your system is working. I think what you're going to notice now, hopefully, is on Reddit and such, is that the word cloud system isn't working. So fix that. Stop doing it that way. You guys really have to play the fucking game. Start up a new account. Start up a new account and play the game. You should start up a new account every few months. You should start up a new account and play the game and check the experience. Somebody should. Does somebody start up a new account every few months and check the experience for a new player? If not, do that. I don't see why you wouldn't. Why don't you give a shit about that? You're losing players every day who give up because the new player experience sucks. Fix it.
I'll read it to you. It was from a member of the community. Can you ask if they've considered it all essentially putting in he says training mats, but he means ability mats. This is actually a new player problem, a mid-game player problem, and I'm trying to highlight issues that relate to everybody in the community. He's saying T2s, which are the blue ability mats, only drop at Ultima 6. Is there any harm in adding T2s to U7? For example, in other words, some of the blue ability mats to the later raids. This is actually a big problem right now for mid-game players.
Interesting. I didn't realize that T2s were such a big problem. There very much are. There are definitely things that we don't want to be problems, right? I don't know that if this is one of them, but I will write it down right now.
I'd also assume that means that there are things they do want things to be a problem from that statement. But yeah, just what I was saying before, if you start up a new account, you would know this shit. If anybody there would just start up a new account, I think it'd be a great thing for the community manager to do. Right? You don't have to be a hardcore player either. Just start up a new account, give it so much time every day, and just check out that experience and see how hard it is, if it's fun.
Yeah, it's essentially they're actually buying them in the store. They're actually mid-game players are like buying for gold T2s because they're running out of blue because they've moved to U7. They don't get them anymore.
Got it. Okay. I'll bring that up with the team. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, if we increase...
But will you really, unless it's in your word cloud, will you really, or do you need it to show up in the word? Do you need it to have like a score on it at this point? Because that's what it sounds like. Like, it's not going to get attention unless it like heats up on the word cloud. If it doesn't heat up on the word cloud, I'm probably going to ignore it. Because who the fuck knows? Maybe that's a problem for some people. Honestly, I don't know. I'd have to start up a new account and then tell you myself. I'd really have to start up a new account to find this out. I don't even know if this is a valid complaint. What's my room say? What do you say down in the comments down below? Are T2s a problem? I honestly would not know. I don't know how anybody would know unless you start up a new account. You got to do that shit. You got to care about that part of the game, or not. It's ridiculous. It's like causing people to suffer because you hate them is awful, and I don't feel that he hates us. Right? I don't feel he's causing people to suffer. This game isn't causing. They're not evil. Okay, they're lazy. And that's worse. Because causing people to suffer because you've forgotten how to care, I don't understand that. I understand that at all. It doesn't make any sense. It's a lack of pride in your job. It's a lack of pride in your product that you don't want to experience it. People who work at fucking White Castle, man, and nothing wrong with that. Someone's got to do it. They take more pride in their product than you do. Because once every few hours, they will sample their product. Most people do sample the product that most customers are getting, that the new customer would get. Sample your fucking product and find out the problems so you don't need people to tell you shit.
The availability to stuff, it's because, we look at it and we're like, actually, yeah, it's we're not putting enough of this stuff into the economy, right? Or we're not making this accessible enough. So I've got
make it rain T2s, motherfucker. I mean, there's the easy fucking solve to this. You know what? Problem or not a problem, just make it rain T2s. Who gives a fuck about T2s? Make people feel good by drowning them in T2s. Yo, this is a problem? That sounds dumb. I know how fucking easy T2s are. New players are swimming in T2s. Now, all veteran players are swimming into T2s. These are fake made-up little pictures on a fucking phone. Let's just flood the economy with T2s because nobody's doing the Ultimate 6 anymore because it's dead. We can look at the fucking statistics and tell no one's running the Ultimate 6. These guys, we always have the impression that they're looking at the game and what people are doing. I don't think they are. They're looking at word clouds and people are pissed off on Reddit, man. You can't look at fucking Reddit for your fucking solutions. The people that are about to quit the game don't post on Reddit. The people who are about to quit the game don't post on Facebook. They just quit. You're just looking at the angry motherfuckers, bitching motherfuckers. You got to look at why people are quitting. Look at your statistics. Look at the in-game information that you have access to and figure out what people are doing and not doing and why. Experience it for yourself. Add some context. Do your fucking job.
Got it down on my list now.
Well, it's good. I feel like what I'm trying to do here is be a representative, let everyone's voice be heard. And some of the things you're not going to have answers for, but it's more so that people can have their views out there and raise issues. So I'm going to try to do my best. Here's another question. This I thought was interesting because this got a lot of positive interaction. I was trying to pick ones that people were really interested in. He says, I'll be interested to know what the plans are for beefing up the stats for the year one characters that have been useless now. Kree, Han, Ravagers, Wakanda example, or for some examples. I will say I have a friend who started the game recently and he didn't understand why I told him Spider-Man and Iron Man were not very good characters and so forth. What can you tell people? And then he's also asking about the Hulk achievement milestones. Anything you can say about that would be of interest to folks.
Well, this is good. It's going to be the internal balance of the game. Like that's, yep. Look, you think about any heavily.
Balance is a really interesting word to use because the game is not balanced. That's exactly what we're talking about, is that the game is not balanced. The old characters are dead. Giving them a moderate boost in stats would balance the game. Right now we have an imbalanced game where we have 20 characters that are good and then like 150 that eat shit in a gutter and die. So yeah, bringing them slightly out of that gutter would balance things a little more than now. And I don't think it would be to the point where it'd be like, oh, now the fucking Avengers are the #1 raid team and no one's going to buy Secret Avengers now. Like, not like that, no. But just make them, keep them kind of... These new characters are so fucking power leapt. We're past crept and we're into leapt. That, yeah, like your Spider-Man has no hope. And the main problem you have with this, right, with the old characters sucking so bad, is you still have the red star system, which is supposed to make you feel really cool when you pull a 7 red. However, if you pull a 7 red Spider-Man, you're not happy. That's weird. It's so rare to pull a 7 red that if you pull a 7 red on Spider-Man, you're going to fucking cry. You should never want to fucking cry when you win the lottery. There's something broken about your game when winning the lottery inside your game can make you intensely sad. You should fix that part.
Fully character-based live service game, right? Like anyone. You think of Overwatch or League of Legends. When you look at those games, for anyone out there that actually plays them, how many of those games are 100% of the roster usable at any given time? Mm-hmm. Not many, right? Like, for the most part, you're going to look at them and be like, really, like the top 20 to 30% are probably like the...
Okay. Yes. True. Not what we're talking about. Not what I'm talking about. Moderately fucking usable. Moderately fucking usable. You have actively shut down 150 characters entirely. If I'm in a top level alliance and I'm doing the Doom raids, I can't even entertain the notion of using Spider-Man. I have no option. It's not a thing. I have to put ISO level 5 on him, right? Can't do that. 150 characters I can't even fathom using. I can't even experiment. I can't even experiment with the newer character like Calling Wing or Misty Knight. Let's not even talk about Spider-Man, okay? Fuck Spider-Man, which is a crazy thing to say in a Marvel game, but fuck Spider-Man. Let's talk about Calling Wing and Misty Knight. Fairly new characters, right? Moon Knight and White Tiger. I can't even experiment to bring them into the Doom raid because I need ISO level 5 on them. You have doubled down on the death of characters and only having 20 meta characters to the point where not even characters that were new a couple of months ago are worth any investment at all. That part is fucking weird. Fix it.
Meta, and then there's everything else. But it's 100% of the characters being usable or meta is not the case with just about.
No, not meta. Not meta. I'd be interested to know what the plans are in beefing up the stats. Stats, not abilities. Stats. Okay? Because unless you improve their abilities, they're still going to be shit. They're still going to suck. So we're not asking for that. Stats for year one characters that are totally useless. Give me a buff to the stats of Wakanda, to Pym, to like defenders, and then the gamma ray becomes less of a fucking issue. Okay? Doesn't break the game. Doesn't mean now Wakanda is going to be the best raid team. It's going to mean they're usable on the gamma, which we have to run and we have to use them in. Little shit like that, this is exactly what he's asking for. This is a gamma question. Kree, Ravager's hand in Wakanda. This is a fucking gamma question. The question here is, are you going to make the gamma suck less? Go play the gamma raid. Take the fucking Pym Wakanda lane in the gamma level 3. Go to gamma 4-3 and run Pym Wakanda, motherfucker. And then tell me, answer the question again after that. Come back to this question after you run the gamma 4 level 3 on the Pym Wakanda lane. And then come and tell me that it's going to break the game to give them just like a moderate boost in stats so they don't just eat shit and die on the first fucking nodes, not the end nodes where we can use symbiotes, which are built to the fucking roof and have almost decent stats. Oh man, I know we're going to get into symbiotes too, but let's talk symbiotes just for a moment while we're talking about this. You take fully maxed out symbiotes right now on the Doom raid. 1.1. Other teams just destroying it. Symbiotes dying to one-shots left and right. You can't give Venom just like a little bit of boost? A little bit of health. Just give Venom a little bit of health. What the fuck? What the fuck? You just don't play the game. You don't even know how to care. You built shit and then you move on. You don't even think about the people that got to deal with it on a daily basis. We give you so much of our lives and time. Unfucking believable. Yeah, don't take the question and make it something it isn't. No, I don't want the Kree Ravager's hand in Wakanda to be fucking meta. No, it's not what anybody's saying. A slight bump in stats so they don't die to like a light breeze. That's all. So maybe if you pulled a 7 red on Spider-Man, you could put him somewhere and it wouldn't be laughable. Because even a 7 red Spider-Man is total bullshit in this game. And that's crazy. It's crazy. You should be able to do something with him. Just something. But his stats are so low, no one cares. Doesn't matter. Not to a game-breaking level, but just like a cost of inflation to deal with like the power leap and creep that's in the game. Give us a little something. Holy shit.
Any type of free-to-play game that's heavily focused on having a large roster of characters. So, that's going to be our the thing that we're always working on. We just brought up, we took RU.
Oh my God. I mean, another thing you could do. All right, you already have the system in place. ISO. ISO's fine. We still don't have enough. Okay, we still don't have enough to fix that problem. We could fix the problem for you. We could selectively improve our characters with ISO if you would loosen up on it. It's still not loose enough. Right now, it's to the point where I can take my 20 characters and put ISO level 5 on them. Thank you very much. I can take new characters. I can put ISO level 5 on them day one. Thank you very much. I cannot fix 150 characters with it. I cannot. You need to make a way for even in-game players to be able to more freely put ISO level 5 on the rest of our rosters. Because if I could freely put ISO level 5 on Kree, Ravagers, Hand, and Wakanda, whatever I'm using on the Gamma, it would make the experience better, and you wouldn't even need to do shit. But it's so restrictive still. We're not really catching up. We're just patching what was broken with it right now. So have some events. It should be like when you fucked up, when you first released ISO, green ISO, you gave us a whole bunch of shit. Like, have some more events and just put out some more green ISO into the economy to help people deal with, to bring up some extra characters to ISO level 5 so we can do some things, so we can maybe bring a Moon Knight or White Tiger into Doom and not feel like fucking idiots for doing it. Just a little bit looser on that. It's like what you did with Stark Tech. You motherfuckers did this. You just stopped giving a shit. You did it with Stark Tech. Stark Tech effectively fixed old characters. You did it like 2 years ago. And at the time, it made old characters usable again because they got an overall increase to stats. Now it's all base level. And you've released content that is crept out of that increase. Stark Tech now doesn't really matter that much anymore. Once you have it maxed out, set. And yeah, good God, here's another great point from one of my longtime members here, Valgrath, Gravedigger, moderator extraordinaire. God forbid you need to change ISO. Come on, loosen it up a little. Like, it's so restrictive, so fucking restrictive that it would solve the problem if you just loosened it up a little bit. Crazy.
Arguably one of the worst characters in the game, Nebula, and made her one of the best. So that's something we're going to continue to, stuff like that we will continue to do.
Slow as shit.
I think that was, by the way, that stuff is very well received. I mean, that when you do new teams that include older characters, I think people like that. People like using the characters that they had used before. And I know in the time I've been here, the Wave 1 Avengers rework was one of the most popular things you did. And frankly, got people like me who otherwise wouldn't have invested in the team to invest.
And did not break the game. Buffing Wave 1 Avengers up, what they did not break the game at all. Didn't ruin the balance. Didn't make a meta. Made them a decent war defense team. Doesn't matter. The only people that really used them on war defense to like great effect were like the top alliances, which will literally buy anything you do. But for lower alliances, it made the new game experience a little bit better. So yeah, doing shit like that is fine. Is absolutely fine and won't fuck your game up. It'll take time and it won't make you a lot of like instant money. Like, it's definitely better for you to release new characters. I get that. But doing like a periodic rework of an old team just to kind of bring them up to baseline used to be something we periodically did, but kind of don't anymore. And I don't think it's silly to address that. And I don't think you need to dress it down or dress it up as like, oh, we can't break the meta and oh, it's normal to only have 20 characters that are good. No, it hasn't always been that way. You've made it worse over time. To the point where now it's actually alarming that there's only 20 characters. And less every day. And really, the problem is ISO level 5. The ISO level 5 requirement has killed most of the roster. Only that. Only at the point where you were so restrictive that you start gating content behind ISO level 5, you really start killing characters. Because now, I can't invest, I can't try out characters. I can't theory craft shit because they can't even go into the raid. Can't even use them. You're forcing me to take new characters with no stars on them and max out their ISO so in the hopes that someday, once stars become available, I can use them on a raid. Which is not fun, by the way. Not fun at all to have a maxed out 2-star Sam Cap that I've paid $20 for, motherfucker. I've given you $20 and you've handed me a character that is almost useless, even after I max him out with all my resources. Over time, taking me multiple fucking weeks. Ridiculous.
Invest in them because I was a newer player at the time who loved those characters from the movies and was excited to play with them. Let me hear. Here's another one. So this, okay. This is something I thought was an interesting question. I would have never thought to ask this, but he says the end game player has a lot of lower level gear. Will there ever be a mechanic introduced to craft that into something else? In other words, is there a way where you could turn all your green gear into something that a later game player would want to use? Okay.
This is a real... I don't like stuff like this. I wouldn't ask for shit like this. I'd be really wary of doing this. I get the impulse. But honestly, in these types of games, it is better to have the unlimited supply than to potentially dwindle that supply and then need it later. The way it is right now, and you know this with blue, right? With the blue ability materials. If you are hasty and you take all your T2 ability materials, and we just addressed that we don't get them anymore, right? We don't get them anymore. So if you take them and you turn them all into blue gear or purple gear, let's say you can turn it into purple, right? Let's say you can turn it into purple, which you also don't need. But then let's say you can take the purple and turn it into orange, which you do need, right? So that's what you do. You be hasty. You take all your blue, you turn it into orange, or you turn it into purple and take all your purple and turn it into orange. Now you don't have blue. They still release new characters every month. It is better to have, because the conversion rate's never going to be good for you. The conversion rate's going to be something insane. It's going to be take like this massive amount of blue to make a purple, massive amount of purple to make an orange, because they don't give a shit. What they want you to do, you're falling into a trap. What they're going to want you to do is do just that, reduce all your blue, reduce all your purple. Now you need purple again. You don't get blue. Now you're fucked. So I would be really wary of this happening. And if it does happen, my advice would probably be to not do it. No. You just keep the unlimited supply. The unlimited supply is much better than the conversion rate. Almost guaranteed in any of these games that you play. Unless they have a good economy that is giving you everything you need in current rates. But we don't have that in this game. So if you did something like this, you would need to make sure to also make a way to give you those tier 2s that people don't have, or whatever gear it is. I need fucking blue. I need green gear. I legit, those little fucking vials of serum, I buy those in the fucking store. This is a problem. An in-game player, been playing for 3 years, farmed everything. I still buy the little vials of serum, the green ones, from the fucking store daily, multiple times a day. It's ridiculous because I have like thousands of everything else and like 200 of those because every single character needs them. So if you could convert them, you could fuck yourself, right? You would be stuck on every character. You would need to farm those little serums. Crazy. There's no reason to need that. But yeah, you can't go to this until you fix that. You have to fix that. Everybody does. It's a universal problem, which they would know if they played the game more than they play it. Because everybody does it. Literally everybody buys the little green, the green gear with the little serums. It's ridiculous. It's a serious problem with their economy that's not fixed. So until you fix that, you can't go to this. You can't do this before that. Crazy.
Got a lot of feedback, so I figured I'd ask.
Yeah, that's one of those things that's just, it's what we call the backlog. Like we have so many things we want to do, right? And unfortunately, it comes down to like, you can only do so many of those things.
Yep. I think that's fair.
I can't give you a solid answer either way. I mean, there's a ton of stuff that we would love to do, right? Where if we could just snap our finger today and make it happen, we would. But it's just not a priority. So will there ever? I don't know. I mean,
you can't snap your finger and fix this, but you could snap your finger and fix like tier 2s. You could snap your finger and fix the green serum problem. I mean, you can just add it to new nodes. Just throw it on the nodes that we all farm. You actually have all the data. You know the hottest nodes that we farm and game players. You know exactly what we're farming. So put the fucking gear that we're short on, which you also know if you look at the data, put that on the nodes that we farm. And so we'll start accruing it. Just sprinkle that shit in there. The low-level shit that you think we don't need, but we do. That you can snap your fingers and do. It's actually super simple. Super simple database changes. You'd have to know what to do. So you'd have to invest the time to figure that out. You have to care.
We don't really talk in absolutes. Like, you'd be hard pressed to find in any of our messaging where we say we will always do this or we will never do that. So I don't know.
How about give a fuck?
We would like to,
Will you
but
do that?
whether or not it actually happens is something different.
Yeah. So here's another one. This is one I think I may know the answer from a conversation I'd had with a dev, but I want players to understand this because I get asked this all the time. People also want to see their arena teams win and lose. They ask all this time. They're like, it's already in the file. So I'm like, I'd like to see why I lost, why I won. Can you explain why that isn't the case? Why that's
Zero interest. Almost zero interest in this. You want to know why? Because screen time is already maxed the fuck out. So this would be like more screen time. I would never ask for more screen time. I get this. I get why you want to do it. But asking for more screen time, that's something I would not do. I do not want more screen time. I don't want to watch shit. Plus, I know this would take time away from the other shit, more broken shit. Please fix more broken shit before adding more screen time to the game.
it's harder, easier said than done.
Oh, you mean like a replay system?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that is that. When I talk about like our backlog of things we want to do, that one is definitely something that's higher up on the list, right?
Fuck.
Like we do want to have
Because it increases screen
replay
time.
systems.
Because we want to increase screen time. Because you don't look at your phone enough as it is, and we'd like you to look at it more. Fuck, man. Of course it's higher up on their list. Because it increases screen time. Anything that increases screen time will be higher up on the list. Anything that helps the player will be lower down on the list. Great. We've cracked the fucking code.
That's something that other games that are kind of in a similar genre have.
Because it increases
And,
screen time.
It's something we want to do.
Yep. And then
It's on there.
it's easier. Yeah, it's one thing though. My understanding is it's something that takes a decent amount of work to create. Is that fair to say? Like you can't. It's not a.
No, it doesn't. No, I think you're mistaken. Because they would love to do it. They would love to. They're just not sure how much more screen time that'll be spent on it. Because a lot of people will ignore it because screen time's already maxed out. So I don't think it's like difficult to do or anything. They have the log. It's just replaying the fucking log. But yeah, do they think that everyone will do it? I think they kind of know that people are already maxed out on screen time, and no one wants to put out a feature that nobody uses. You don't want to be the guy that greenlights the feature that no one uses. So they just don't think there's enough of a market for it.
It's not a simple thing in terms of resources. That was my sense of things.
Sure. I'll ask a couple. I can answer a couple of things from the chat too. Somebody asked why the 40 saved teams is gated to a level.
He just fucking ignored that. He's like, sure. Anyways, I have my own question I'm going to ask myself now.
It's just the way the game was made.
That was hot, actually. He's just like, okay. Anyways, asking myself my own question now.
It was the easiest way for us to give players more levels is to tie it to a level increase.
Oh.
Here's another thing, guys. Like I know this happens a lot. Is when games get compared to each other, especially mobile games and what people call like hero collector games. Like, hey, this game does this. Why can't you do that? It's like comparing buildings. Like they're just not all built the same way, right? Different teams that created a building from the ground up, and they just don't all function the same way. So some games it's easier to do things, to scale things. Some games they were not meant to scale, so you have to go in there and rip.
All right, little history lesson. This game was designed to be sold. I don't know if anybody knows this or not, but this game was designed to be sold. Nobody wanted to own this game, and that's where it is now. It's with a development studio that doesn't actually never meant to make this game, never meant to care about this game. They are saddled with this game, and nobody really gives a shit, which is pretty apparent with a lot of this shit. So when they talk about how old the game is and how they need to rebuild it, they do. It is. And will they? Yeah, maybe. They'd have to kind of like take this one down, though. Either take the game down or just kind of stop, progress on it, like they did with Star Wars. They took it down for like a year. I mean, people kept playing it, but they just stopped releasing shit, which we're kind of in, but they're not doing the infrastructure improvements. The one thing that's easy for them to do is pump out new characters. And that's just from the framework standpoint. It is easy for them to pump out new characters. So that's what they're going to keep doing. That makes a lot of money. So they're going to keep doing that. But yeah, this game was meant to be sold. It never actually sold the way it was supposed to. It changed hands a few times. Now, it's with people who don't really give a shit. They know how hard it is to do shit with it, so they'd rather tear it down. Will we see like a Marvel Strike Force 2? Like maybe. Can they get everybody to jump over there and abandon everything that they've built in this one? Maybe. Who knows? That might be what they gauge. I don't know. I don't think they're winning a lot of fans over. Like, I'm not going with Boundless, Scopely, any of these fucking companies to another game. That's not happening. They've burnt me as a customer. They burnt everybody in this room. They burnt everybody on my YouTube channel. No one's going to them again. Not happening. Not unless they change their shit and actually take care of us. If they start taking care of us tomorrow and they do that for the next year, you might build some brand loyalty, and that is valuable. However, right now, you have no brand loyalty. From me, anybody in here, anybody on my channel, people know you. They know your fucking names. They're starting to know the names of your programmers, your developers. This shit's all over in the community. And the next time you release something, we're all going the other way. And if you're unlucky, I'll play it and keep telling people who the fuck you are and what you did here and how it's going to be if you play the new game.
Things out and do it over.
Well, by the way, and I agree with Lucky, by the way, I do think watching your defense teams would probably make you want to build them more, right? You'd be interested to see how they do. I think this is an interesting question. I could see why people were saying.
I mean, he's like literally shooting himself in the foot right now because like one of the main reasons people go to content creators is to watch war attacks, defenses and attacks. You're like actually putting yourself at like a financial detriment. I mean, I don't think he cares. I know for me, my most watched video right now is a war attack video. I don't fucking know why. I guess people want to see that shit. So, yeah, you're just putting content creators like out of one of their pieces of content if you put that shit in game.
So interested in it. This one is a question I thought was interesting because I think this is something I'll just say as a lawyer. There's things that sometimes.
Oh, this is hot, by the way. This is hot. This is a great question. This is like the best question that's probably going to get asked here tonight. I knew this one was coming, and I'm actually, this is like the best fucking thing that could come out of this video is a clear answer on this. This is cool.
You leave deliberately vague in documents because you need to. You don't have it all planned out yet. But I do think a lot of players are asking this question. They're wondering this question about ISO Blue 4, ISO Blue 5, because you can't get that in the game yet. What can you tell us about that, if anything?
What's the status of it? It's not currently on our.
All right, this is funny that he acts like it's a weird question. Like the shit is in the fucking game. It's in the fucking game. You can see it. It's like when people would ask about Red Skull and shit. It's like in the fucking game. So it's like agitating that it's in the fucking game. I can see what Blue ISO level 4 does. I can see what level 5 does. I can look at it. It can tell me that I can go to it. I can't do it because there's 2 extra currencies on there, which I also can't get and I'm curious about. Like, we are naturally curious about this. The assumptions that it's coming soon because it's actually in the game. Yet he's acting like, oh, I don't know. You guys want that? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know why you think you're going to get that soon. Is it because you look at it every day? That's weird. That's weird that you look at it every day. Look, don't even ask me about leagues or events when it comes to RTA because those aren't anywhere near on the roadmap either. And also confused why you're asking. I know you look at it every day, but it's confusing. It's confusing to me why you think that's going to happen anytime soon. I don't get it. I'm totally confused. I don't play this game.
Roadmap. Like where,
Yep.
If it was, we would have mentioned it in the blog.
Got it.
Most likely.
Because the blog is like the fucking Bible, apparently. And if we don't mention it in the blog, then you shouldn't think about it. Shouldn't think about it at all. Doesn't matter. It's in the game. Who the fuck reads the blog, man? What are your stats? How much of the player base reads your fucking blog? Because I know like a good deal of the player base doesn't read that shit. Even top level alliances don't read that shit. It's awful to read. It's actually awful to read. Most of it doesn't make any fucking sense. Most of it needs a fucking translator. People will watch content creators, but not even everybody watches content creators. Most people don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck. And what they know is what's in game. So you can see Blue ISO 4 and 5 in game. So that's going to beg more questions than any blog or whatever the fuck way you're divulging this information. And who the fuck knew that was a rule? Oh, if we don't talk about it in the blog, then it'll never fucking happen. Most of the shit you don't talk about in the blog happens in the next blog. We get like a couple days notice most of the time from the blog. It's not like you give us so much fucking notice on this shit that it's like absurd to think like, oh, well, if we don't talk about it in the blog, because that is full of so much great information that you get so far in advance, how the fuck would we know? You were radio silent on Red Skull for like a year, 2 years. You had no fucking idea what the plan was. Who the fuck knows? And then like the day he was coming, it was like a couple of days before in the blog. It's like, oh, we're dropping Red Skull finally. Oh, well, there it is in the blog. I guess it's happening now. He's been in the game as a villain for like since the dawn of the fucking game. Yet now that it's in the blog, oh, we fucking rejoice.
But it's interesting.
It's going to be a while. Like it's not like we're planning
a while in a bit. Next year, month. Can you give us a time frame with Doom 3? I mean, there are more solid answers to give than this. I know he might not have them on the tip of his tongue, but this is like literally in game. You would think that feature would be closer than other features because it's actually in the game.
planning on coming out with 4 and 5 like in, like 2 months later or something like that. It's going to be down the road.
More than 2
very
months.
Helpful information.
It is.
I think that gives people, a sense of what they should be doing with this. I mean, one issue that people have been raising, by the way, is that the ISO blue orbs don't give enough iron.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point too. But yeah, all right. So just touching on, like, if anybody here wants a in-game tip, what this means for you is that blue ISO level 3 is like the new green ISO level 5, and you want it. You either want like basically no blue ISO or blue ISO level 3. So to put a finer point on it, right here, this is my updated infographic. We're going to update it again soon with the new patch that's coming. And Deathpool will fucking 1,000% be on here because we need mystic characters on here. We only have 3 mystic characters on here right now. So we definitely need her. She's going to be great. She has raid-only skills. She's fantastic for raids. So what you want to do is these characters right here, the ones without the X's on them, you want to put blue ISO level 3 on them. They're the only characters safe to do it on. You can do other ones at your own risk. Past that, you want to put it on new characters that are coming out. You don't get enough blue ISO, especially as you're just entering Doom raids. If you're late to the party on blue ISO, you're going to have even less. And you want to put it on just these characters. And the problem with that, of course, is that on the old characters are all going to be useless. They're going to keep it that way because it's going to be so fucking rare. So there you go. Blue ISO level 3 is going to be the max for probably until next year. It sounds like it's a next year thing because he's saying not in the next couple of months, not on their radar, wasn't mentioned in the road ahead. So we probably won't be seeing it anytime soon. That does give you time to hoard it up, which is probably what you want to do. But yeah, these are the characters that are safe to put blue ISO level 3 on. These are raid characters. And this is why the game is honestly kind of fucking dying, is because it's so few characters that you can actually give a shit about.
Ions, and that they have to with the blue, they have to essentially purchase with cores extra blue ions. Is that? No,
you don't. I don't know what the fuck you're doing. I have never once bought blue ions for cores. That's crazy. It's crazy talk. I don't understand that at all. Never happened. Not once. No reason to. Doesn't make any sense. You're going too fast. Slow the fuck down. Don't do that. It honestly makes no fucking sense. You get enough. It's not that bad. You only don't get enough. You can get enough like blue crystals to go up to like level 3 and then not have enough ions. You just open more of the normal. You don't spend cores to buy the ion. That's crazy. You're going to always have more crystals than you will ions. It doesn't mean you should buy more ions. That's a trap. You're just falling into a fucking trap. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just slow down. Open the normal ones. Get the meager amount of blue ions and move slower. You'll be fine.
Is that something that the dev team is aware of or has looked into, that issue?
It's literally there to trick Krakens into spending money on it. It's the only reason why it's there. It's not even there for normal players. I've never once fallen into that trap. I've never needed it. I have most of my characters at Blue ISO level 3. I have most of the characters on that list at Blue ISO level 3, everybody. Just to let you know. Like, it's not that I don't have characters at Blue ISO level 3. Almost every single one of these characters on this list, even the ones with the X's, I was moving so fast, are at Blue ISO level 3. I bought no ions. I bought zero Zippo. None. It's crazy. Don't do it. It's a trap. It's only a trap for like the top players who are like going nuts and going too fucking fast. It's a total fucking trap. It's crazy. No, don't do it. Holy shit. It's to put a value on blue ions in your mind so they can sell it to you. That's the only reason why it's there. It's not for any practical reason at all. It's crazy.
Let's see.
I had to X them out because that's how fast the game is moving. Like, for anybody curious, I got other videos on this too. I'll be talking about this like on every fucking video. These are X'd out because that's how fast the game is moving. You can't raid with Gamora, Moondragon, or Phyla-Vell effectively. Secret Avengers has killed these two characters. Phyla-Vell, we're waiting for a new bio team. She's not going to be on it. Yeah, so the game is moving so fast. I'll have a new one out soon. Anyways, back to this.
I haven't really had a conversation with them about it, but I just wrote it down. Whenever it comes to anything new, we tend to be a bit conservative on things.
You think?
Because the inverse can be really damaging
to you.
So if ions, if players are feeling a bit deficient on that for like the blue ions, it's most likely was. See, I'm going to be careful here. Like, we're not trying to deliberately starve people. It's more just we want to err on the side of being conservative, and then we can slowly release more in a bit over time.
It's called a bottleneck. I can't say the words bottleneck, but it's a bottleneck. We've created a bottleneck. So to stop you from going too fast, we've created a bottleneck. You can spend to increase the size of the bottleneck, but it's still a bottleneck. So that's what we're trying to say, but I won't say. It's a bottleneck is what it's called. We have a lot of them. And then sometimes we release the hold on the bottleneck after a year. Just wait like a year.
I think, so here's the thing though. I think the difference is that I think we were a little bit slow to do that kind of stuff before. Whereas now we are going to be reviewing the things like this more regularly. And I will also be reminding the team about that as well. So,
and what is your system for doing that? How have you improved that? Like, what are you doing to make sure that happens? That's a great thing to say. That sounds really cool. I'm glad you'll be addressing that more often than before. Why weren't you addressing it more often in the past? And what has changed now to make you want to do that? Do tell. See, these are follow-up questions. These are the things that you would ask as an interviewer to get more information out of someone who is giving you like a very kind of blow-off answer like this. That's kind of like that sounds really nice, right? It sounds really good, but I don't believe you. So I'd like to believe you, but I would need more information from what you're saying so that we could get into it. We'd like to get it. I'd like more than a surface level answer. Surface level answers aren't worth very much. But if we get into it more It can be like, oh yeah, well, there's been a lot of complaints about like, tier 4s being a bottleneck for like ever. And we never wanted it to be that bad because you have 170 characters and now tier 4s are like necessary for the new characters. So it's a really heavy bottleneck. And if we would have addressed it earlier, we could have, had less frustration in the player base and maybe less people would have quit. So now it's really important to us to address that on a more, continuous basis. Now, I just made that up. It sounds pretty good to me, but is that what you're thinking or are you just, bullshitting? I don't know because no one's asking follow-up questions. So we're getting surface level answers that honestly aren't worth dick and aren't very helpful. So I don't know. Come on, Mr. Hargrave show. I'll ask you some follow-up questions. I'll be nice. I'm not going to be a dick about it. Just, I'm going to ask you like a second question. You're going to give me a response like that. And I'm going to be like, oh, that sounds really cool. Can you tell us a little more? Like, why? And why not earlier? Why now? And why not then? Like, what's the difference? That for pretty much every answer you give, I would ask that because that's like how you interview someone.
Yeah, it's something worth reviewing, but I don't have any answers as to, whether or not it's meeting our intention. That's the easiest way for me to ask the team, right? Like, just pick any resource in the game. Pick, T4 ability mats, right?
Tier 4s.
Go to the team and say, hey, the players are saying we don't have access to enough T4 ability mats right now.
And we don't.
How many are we giving out? They go check, and I say, okay, is that our intention? And they say, no, that's actually a bit low. We could give out some more. I'm like, perfect. Then we're agreed. We can give out some more because we're not.
All right. Oh, God damn, dude. I'm triggered. Is that really all it took? Oh, motherfucker. Play the game. Would you play the fucking game and ask those questions more often? Because that would help us out a lot if you would play the game, see the bottlenecks, and then communicate that more often. Hey guys, I'm playing the game and I'm noticing I don't have any tier 4s at all. Is that your intention? Great. Yeah, if we could just ask that a little more often, yeah, I think that would be fantastic. Holy shit.
Not giving out as much as we intend to do. Mm-hmm. So the intention is really a big deal. What we intend for things to happen, and that's why you'll see that word used a lot is things either working are intended or they're not. Because if they're not, that's a bug, right? Even if technically it's working properly, if things are not working the way that we designed it to do, that's a bug, and we need to fix it.
Yeah, I will say, what I've seen is essentially you end up having enough ISO pieces to upgrade, but you constantly run out.
Yeah, this is a really good one. He's either bullshitting to not sound like a money hogging pig, or he's really that clueless. And also, that's both. Either are bad. So yeah, either you are actually clueless because you don't play the game, or you're full of shit because their real intention is to make money. And I know there's a good portion of this that everybody wants to make money. Everybody needs more money, right, dude? Everybody needs more money. Of course. Everybody needs more money. And I don't mind them. I want them to make money. I want a successful game. I love the game. I want it to go on. I don't want the game to die. But the problem is no one's spending money anymore because of shit like this. Because the shit isn't working as intended. And it's not being communicated. And it's not being updated fast enough. And there's bottlenecks everywhere. There's way too many bottlenecks. And you should know that. You should be asking about them. Holy shit.
Out of ions right now, just in terms of the numbers. But I appreciate, by the way, everyone should understand, Cerebro is not going to have answers to all of our questions right now. The point of this is to get them in front of him. And we're putting these issues in front of the devs.
I think he's had plenty of answers.
He doesn't know the questions in advance, so you can't expect him to have answers.
I think he's done a great job.
This is a good feedback session. I'm writing down
do it monthly.
Things to ensure that I talk to the team about.
Do it monthly.
Exactly.
While I don't have answers for everything, I will certainly try to go get them.
Yeah,
is this more informative to you than a word cloud? Is this working better for you than the word cloud method? Are you getting like deeper insight into these problems by doing this than you did with like the word cloud thing? Is this better? Is this getting like deeper? Or do you prefer the word cloud thing? Which one's better for you? Would you commit to doing this monthly with different content creators? I'm just asking my own follow-ups here because we're not doing those. But I'm like, this is, Would you do this monthly, please, with multiple content creators? Don't fuck Mr. Hartgrave. Don't do it with him. He's a piece of shit. But, do it with Mobile Gamer, do it with Valley. Just have them collect, feedback from their audience, the most pressing issues with their audience, which is bigger than like your audience. Just have them gather up all the questions and ask them. Mr. Hartgrave can take his audience and he can hand them over to Valley. He can hand his question because Valley's cool with me. I'm cool with him. You don't have to talk to me directly if you don't fucking want to. But you should talk to everybody. You should get this feedback from the whole community, not just your fucking word cloud.
One thing that somebody said in the chat is a constant feedback I get, and I've seen this as a player as well, is that I think people are frustrated with the blue orbs in that there's an RNG element to them. In other words, let's say I want to focus on Blaster. I still get some other classes that are not Blaster in those ions or in those orbs. And then, you'll sometimes be in a situation where you have 2 of one piece and 100 of another, that sort of thing. I think people are, for what it's worth, just one piece of feedback I will give you as somebody who gets a lot of feedback from the community is people are frustrated with that. People are frustrated with an RNG.
It's a frustration mechanic.
And they would prefer to be able to when they get the blue ISO from Doom Raids, to at least to have more control over the pieces that they get, for what it's worth.
Yeah. Now that is feedback that I have seen. I haven't had a chance to have a conversation with the team about it, but it's one of the topics I already had on my list in regards to the 2021 second half preview blog. So whenever we put out stuff like that, that's when I go to my sentiment tracking software, my social listening software, and I get a bunch of that stuff and I take it to the team and say, all right, here are the things that people like. Here are the things they didn't like.
All right. Yeah. Here's another problem that he has. Just an insight into software development. I work for a software development company, by the way. I don't know if I've mentioned that. Anyways, the team could also be a pain in the ass. If Cerebro Nick over here goes to the team and he's like, hey, T2s are a problem. They could be like, great, T2s are a problem. You don't say. How many people said it? And Nick could go like, it was a guy. I was doing a video. You do videos. That's cute, Nick. How many people said it? It was a guy in a video. All right, Nick. All right. Go back to your cubicle, dude. All right. Look, we're busy. We're busy, motherfucker. We're busy. Are you making a video game that a few 100,000 people play? No. Great. Why don't you come back when you have numbers? Okay, Nick, why don't you come back when you have numbers? So he could be facing that kind of situation as well, which is, a real situation that I've run into. I try to report something. They're like, well, how many people is it affecting? And I'm like, I don't know, man. This guy on the phone really pissed off about it. Can we fix it for him? Yeah, not really. Yeah, we'll put it on the list. But yeah, he needs to prove that this is affecting a lot of the player base. Now, the higher ups could instruct the team to take him seriously. And when he comes in, not to give him shit. That could happen. But is that the culture that he's in? Maybe not. Maybe they need those numbers and maybe that's why he has to use that software. So I don't want to blame him 100% for relying on an analytical tool instead of trying to compile all this data himself. What he's going to have to do with all these questions is take this, compare it to his tool, make sure he has enough numbers on the issue that he can show, tangibly to the team to get it approved. So it's more work for him. I commend him for coming out here and doing this. I will say that's pretty cool. He doesn't have to do this. He could keep doing what he's doing. He can collect his paycheck. He didn't have to do this. And I want to give him credit. He's going to go and he's going to take these questions. He's going to put it into his word cloud. He's going to get his tangible data. He's going to take it to the team and hopefully get some of this shit resolved. I don't fucking know. They shouldn't make it that hard on him. They should make it a little easier on him. On that same note, he should take that, if they gave him that, could he take the time that he was doing with the word clouds, take that time on actually experiencing the game for himself and giving that feedback to the team? Maybe that would be better to have more, because I don't know how you can do any of this shit without being a user. I don't know how you can do customer support without using the product. They have customer service that doesn't use the product. They have no idea what the fuck it is, which is weird. I don't think you can have that. Really, some of his analytics should be coming from a customer service that understands what the game is. And there should be more of an open player dialogue between ourselves and customer care, where we can be like, man, I am really got a big bottleneck on these tier 4s. Can you make a note of that? And they say that they give it to developers. Well, they should have reports that you can put in. So if everyone's having the same problem with tier 4s, we should all be able to in-game report that as a problem and then have those analytics go to Nick so he can take that to the team. I think that would make sense. But we have customer care that doesn't play the fucking game, so they can't even distinguish what's an actual issue and what isn't. And those should be like your high-level users right there, are the people in customer service. But since they outsource it, they're not getting that data, which can be very valuable to them and increase the experience for the players. It's another way to care about the players, is to have customer service who is, playing the game, not outsourced.
Let's discuss the things they didn't like, and here's the reasons why they didn't like it, why they're feeling, frustrated about these things. So, I do play the game, the Chuck Star. I've got my account is 9.6 million TCP.
Well, there you go. All right, let's.
There you go.
So here's,
you're like a baby.
This is the thing. Somebody was asking Chad about.
There you go.
Gold.
You're a baby.
That was a research you mentioned. I had a lot of comments about gold. Here is an example. Okay, and this guy's asking for a gold blitz, and of course, everyone, you can see the reactions. He's like, "Could we have a gold blitz weekly?" People are concerned about the amount of gold.
Oh my God! All right, here I got to address this too. When he's saying we have a lot of it, we have 13 reactions. It's not a lot of reactions. I get more reactions when I post up that, anything basically that I've ever posted up gets more reactions. So we could do better than this. I mean, any kind of gold post should have like an insane amount of reactions on it that we can show. Not like 13. 13 is not a lot. 13 people complaining about a thing or 13 people wanting a thing in the scope of this game is like absolutely nothing. Just saying.
Now the level cap increase is going to
rookie numbers.
Get increased amount of gold. I know you mentioned kind of working as intended, or if it's the amount. Is this the amount of gold that the developers intend? What did? Can you give us anything more specific than was in the roadmap about that?
I'm still going to stand by that gold is fine. The problem with gold is that it's not fun. The gold itself is okay. If spending $1 million a day could buy you more, it would definitely be okay. The problem is that 1 million a day doesn't do much for you. And they really missed an opportunity when they messed with the milestones. I'm very upset that they didn't increase the rewards on the milestones up to 2 million and then kind of give you a reason to give you enough so you can spend 2 million a day. Because now you need kind of to spend 2 million a day to get the same kind of progress you used to get from spending 1 million a day. I'm noticing it like crazy. It's definitely detrimental to the game to have the normal amount of gold to spend, the daily earned gold spending, not get you as much. And it's going to happen more with level 85. It's going to be really hard to just spend 1 million of gold and do anything useful when you're trying to level to 85 with a bunch of characters. It's going to be really rough.
No, that we have the high level goal of increasing it by up to 8 million per month. And that's what we're doing for now.
That's not enough. It's not enough. And you're not incentivizing the spend on it. It's not enough. You're not doing enough to make it good, to make it fun. It's not fun.
We will see how things go with the level increase. And, we want to make sure that the level progression feels good.
It doesn't.
And if it doesn't feel good, then we'll look at it again.
Okay. And that's all people.
But again, we're usually going to err a little bit on the side of being conservative. So.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking these questions because I know you're getting a lot of feedback from the chat. I appreciate it. Here's one that I thought was interesting. When will we get more good bio characters? What can you say to us about that? Because a lot of folks are feeling like, hey, my symbiotes aren't good enough in the raid. Can you say anything about this? If not, you can't, then we'll move on to the next question.
When are we going to get good bio characters?
In other words, bio origin, because they're now in the Doom raid, you need a bio. In other words, your symbiotes, let's say your symbiotes aren't cutting it.
So
whatever you could say, just whatever you can say. If you can't say anything, we'll move on. I don't want to put you in a spot because I know you're in a tough spot.
Look, this is what I'll say. A lot of the ways the game works is it comes in cycles, right? And when we put out new content, especially stuff like a new raid, it's not designed to be beaten the same day, right? Like it's that content is designed to.
Yeah. I mean, there's that. But then you're putting out content that it's really weaselly. That's a really weaselly thing to say. You know that people are going to force into the new content. And the Doom First Strike was a good example of an entry level into the raid that you knew was wrong to take away. And you know that we're going to need to amass blue ISO to be able to get into the next Doom 2. We've said that. So the problem with bio is that even at maximum level right now, your symbiotes are making your daily life suck. Even at maximum level, end game level. So everyone trying to build symbiotes is wasting their resources on a team that we know will not scale up properly because you do not properly balance your game periodically the way you should. If we had faith that you would periodically make sure that Venom got like some more health, that teams would not entirely fucking die, then we wouldn't have to worry so much about investing the materials we need into our symbiotes, who is very clear will not hold up on this raid. And that is the problem. That's the problem here. We know you're going to release some really overpowered bio team at some point. So we're really hesitant in investing in the current one. You've given us the fear because of what you've done this year with the power creep. You've made this problem, not us.
Be something that is going to be a hard mountain to climb. And then it gets easier as the players get better, right?
No. There's no getting better on the bio notes. There's no getting better on the bio boss. You cannot one-shot it, even if you have like all 5 symbiotes at 7 red. Like, it's not happening. Blue ISO level 3. No, we run out of time. It's like impossible. Yeah, 720k symbiotes get fucked. 800k symbiotes get fucked. Like, not good. Not good. That's the problem. Is that even the most powerful symbiote team is getting absolutely fucked on the bio boss to the point where you cannot beat it with one shot at all. It's impossible. Hail Sabaticus.
Strategies they need to use. 2, they level up their rosters. And 3, that we introduce new characters that are better suited for the task. So, right now, if there's a problem part of the raid, we most likely are thinking about giving the, tools to help overcome it.
Yeah, you're seeing some of the comments in the chat right now. Actually, ironically, the symbiotes had been amazing in raids for a long time. They've gotten a little power creep, so this is now the new problem area in raids, which is feedback I wanted to make sure you got. The reason I was getting questions about bio characters is because now the skill is easy for folks because we got some new power creep, super amazing characters there, but bio is suffering.
People are asking to see a better view of my shirt.
No one cares about your shirt. We do care about the symbiotes, though. So I don't know. People were telling me that he was basically confirming that we would not get a new bio team. I feel quite the opposite. I feel like he basically just confirmed that we will get a new bio team because symbiotes cannot be leveled to be good. I don't even have faith that a level 85 full symbiote team is going to hold up on the Doom 2. It might do Doom 1.1, but I don't feel it's going to Doom 2. It's not going to Doom 2 at all. You're going to need a new bio team. Will it take until, will it take until Doom 2 to get the new bio team? Maybe. That would certainly suck. It'll mean that you have to take your symbiotes to level 85, which will be a waste of resources on them. It might be what you need to do if you're there, though. It won't be good, but it might be what needs to be done.
Sure.
Oh wow, there you go. Anything special about that shirt that you want to
Changing
share?
topic.
Oh, wow. I'm seeing some interesting questions on that. All
Well, I mean, you guys figure out where it's from. I'm going to hand you everything on a silver platter.
You're so coy.
there you go.
You're so sexy when you're coy.
Okay. This I thought was an interesting one. It hooks into a video that I had made recently. I'd love to know, Commander Joe is asking, I'd love to know Cerebro's thoughts on how much time Scopely feels is reasonable for players to spend in the game.
Oh, I got the answer for this one. I got the answer for this one. I got the answer. You guys want to know the answer? I got that one. I got that one right here. You remember this? How much time? I got it. I can do this one.
You can just keep playing and playing and playing, honestly, for the first couple of days, like almost nonstop.
There you go. There you go. Almost nonstop. You can just keep playing and playing and playing almost nonstop. I got that one. I knew that one. We don't even need to listen to his answer. I know. Almost nonstop.
On a daily basis. In other words, we all recognize this as a game that you play daily and you get bonuses for playing. You have daily challenges and energy and all that, and we all signed up for that. But the amount of time, I think you have said in other contexts that you guys you don't want the amount of time to be too much.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I got another answer. I got another one. No, I got two of those. So I forgot. He clarified, people. All right, that's just how much time you should spend, okay? You should play nonstop when you're a new player. When you're a new player...
20 to 30 minutes?
There you go. When you're a new player, you should play nonstop. That's the new player advice, okay? But he's got the time for us vets. He's got the time for us... Here we go.
I don't know, 20 to 30 minutes? Depending
go.
on the day, depending on how quickly you're going through them, whether or not you're using auto mode. Mm-hmm. I would say at the fastest, you could do it in 20 minutes. Our veteran players, I'm sure, could do all of these in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, 20 minutes. Just for the daily challenges, not counting the other stuff. I mean, how long could it possibly take? How long are you nerds actually playing this game for? 20 minutes seems about right to me. I can't play it for more than 20 minutes, as a busy community manager. So yeah, 20 minutes. Yeah, maybe you're doing like 40. Who the fuck knows? I mean, more than that would be crazy. You'd be like sick to do more than that. You'd be something fucking wrong with you.
What is too much here? It's starting to feel, I think, for a lot of players now that the pandemic has ended, that it's too much. Oh
my God. Okay, yeah. The fucking, oh my fuck. I'm going up, boys. I'm going up. I can't sit for it. I need to stand for it. Motherfucker, the pandemic. Yeah, no. Oh, yeah. Some of us has been playing this game for 3 fucking years, okay? For some people, this is the pandemic game. You just started playing during the pandemic and you had some extra time. And now you're like, oh my God, mobile games can take so much time away from my life. I don't know if I can keep on being in the number 1 alliance. It's so fucking hard on me. Yeah, maybe you can't. But it's always requested too much time. It's requested more time. It's not a change with the pandemic. It's always wanted all your time. It's been easier to give the game all my time during a pandemic. It's become so fucking easy that I've even started up a successful Twitch channel and successful YouTube channel over it. That's what so yeah, I spend just as much time in the game. I spend less time in the game now than I did, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's always been an amazing time sink. It always takes a lot of time. Does it take too much time? Abso-fucking-lutely. I have more time because of the pandemic, but you have plenty of time to play the game during the pandemic and do other things. I'll still have enough time to play the game after the pandemic, but it'll still want too much time. It's a lot of fucking time. Mobile games take a lot of time. That's why you only play one at a time. And some people play multiple fucking mobile games at a time. Some people have no fucking limits on how much time they can spend on this shit. Great. If you enjoy it. But is it reasonable? Is it healthy? Yeah, these are good fucking questions.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that. So this is a two-part question. So first of all, how much time do we think is too much time? If people, I think, are spending more than 2 hours in the game a day, that's probably too much. That's above our intention.
More than 2 hours is fucking above your intention? More than 2 hours, motherfucker? You can see how much time we spend in the game, right? Can you take that to the team? Fuck all this other shit. Fuck all the other questions. Fuck all this shit. Throw it aside. Take this one to the team. Ask them, how much time on average is the average player spending in the game? Go to the team today. Ask them, team, how much time is the average player spending in the game? Is that working as intended? And when they tell you that it's like 4 to 6 hours and that, yes, it's working as intended, well, you advise them that is entirely unhealthy. Please advise them that it's entirely unhealthy and that they should do something to reduce it immediately. Reduce blitzing, RTA, war, raids, arena. Just take it down a bit. Do something to reduce screen time. But I don't really think that's going to happen because it's kind of the whole game. The only metric I feel that is being watched around here is how much screen time we spend. Because that's what mobile games do. They don't even care how much money you spend. The offers that you see in the game, they're not even designed for you to buy them. The offers that are in the game, they're trying to hit a certain dollar amount every day for you to be able to buy. Because that's the doctrine of the mobile game. You need to have like $1,000 at minimum of in-game purchases every day for you to buy. So all they need to do then to get you to buy them is make sure that you look at the game as much as possible during the day. That's why there's timers on it. That's why they don't increase the fucking raid energy to 100. It's why you have to still blitz 8 times a day instead of 4. It's why war happens 3 times a week instead of once. It's why pretty much everything happens in the game is to get you to look at it, because they know the longer you look at it, the more likely you are to spend on it. Holy fucking shit. 2 hours?
Right. There's obviously an intended, limit where we're like, we don't want to try and push players to play more than that. Now.
Okay. Now, before you move on, 2 hours is one thing of in-game time. Now, you want us to do things in the game that we have to, depending on whether you're just a player or a leader or a captain, you have to coordinate outside of the game. Your game is not equipped with the tools to coordinate a raid. Your game is not equipped with the tools to coordinate a war. Your game is not equipped with the tools you need to do half the shit inside the game with. You don't even have a fucking inventory screen. So I got to go to MSF GG to manage my inventory, to do all kinds of shit. I got to go there to manage my raids. MSF GG, once again, great place for that. Also Discord. How much fucking Discord time is healthy a day? Because ultimately, it's not just about the game. It's about the overall time that you spend on Marvel Strike Force as opposed to anything else in your life. So not only is your game time fucking absurd, but the amount of time spent outside of the game directly contributing to the fucking game is even more fucking crazy. take it down. Ask them about that. Check the metric. But I honestly don't think it's going to change. I don't think that's going to change one fucking bit. It's up to us to change it. I'll reduce your screen time right now, everybody. Mr. Hargrave's here to help you. He has been here to help you since day motherfucking one. He came out here originally to tell you to hold the gold. Only spend 1 million gold a day. And many people in my chat, in Discord, on YouTube, everywhere I fucking go, have said, Mr. Hargrave, spending 1 million gold a day has eliminated the fucking gold bottleneck for me. I don't have any more gold problems. I am a much happier person now. You are welcome. The next bit of advice I have is to say fuck you to war. War takes an insane amount of fucking time, returns almost no rewards to you. Certainly not as many tier 4 abilities that you need to spend to have as many war viable teams to even get the extra win that would only move you up only 30 or 40 tier 4s per season. So if you need to spend less time on this game, which is most players, say fuck you to war. Don't win so much. Don't try. Be in an alliance that doesn't give a shit about war. Or be in an alliance if you give a shit about war, if you enjoy war, if you need the rewards from war. That's what it's about. If you need the rewards, join a lower alliance that has easier wars so that you can make sure you win 9 attacks every time, because that's going to maximize your war credits. And you will spend less time making those attacks because you will be punching down a massive amount every single fucking time. This is why Mr. Hargrave always punches down in his attacks. I'm not an idiot. It's because I don't want to spend so much fucking time on this game. It's already taking so much fucking time from me. I'm in an alliance that is happy to win 3 wars and lose 3 wars. So we spend less time giving a shit about war. Because if you give a shit about war, it's going to eat up all your fucking time. It's insane. It's insane. But you have the control to take it down and not give a fuck. The slower you go, the less time you can take on this game and the more time you can take for your life. And eventually you'll quit. I mean, eventually, if you need to, you'll quit. And that's good. I think there should be a warning on this game, any type of game like this, when you load up, that it could be potentially damaging to your life. I put a link down in all my videos for a fully online addiction counseling, a video game addiction counseling organization. I highly recommend you check that out if you feel you might have a problem, if you just need to talk to somebody about it. Absolutely. And games like this should have a warning when they load up. There needs to be regulation on this. There should be regulation on how much a game like this wants from you, how much time it tries to take from you, how much money it tries to take from you. That should all be regulated. So yeah, Nick's not going to fix that problem. That's a bigger problem. We have to fix that problem. We have to regulate ourselves right now because they're not going to fucking help out with that. I don't believe that 1 second. Nick can probably get us more tier 4s. That'd be great if he could do that. You know, who the fuck knows? He can get us more gold. Okay, cool. But yeah, can he make meaningful change in our lives? No, Nick's not the guy for that. No, they don't give a fuck about it.
But the second part to that is there's time spent in the game, and then there's time spent out of the game, but you're...
With the
That's
TV
good.
Double Up credit card,
That's
you
good,
can earn
good,
2%
good.
cash back.
I'm glad he brought that up. We're going to talk about Discord?
Out the game, right? Like, you might be on MSF.gg looking up some stats, or you might be
Nice.
in a spreadsheet. If you're an alliance leader, maybe you're trying to go through your members' rosters, that kind of stuff. I think that's something we don't account for enough in that equation.
You
right?
don't.
Because that's something we hear about a lot, right? We've talked with players before about how much time they're spending in the game, and they're like, well, yeah, I spend less than 2 hours in the game, but then I also spend, like another hour outside of the, not actually physically playing the game, but thinking about the game or doing something related to the game, outside
got no
of
tools
it.
inside the
So,
game, man.
I think that's something that we need to get better at understanding. We obviously do understand it to a certain degree because we've invested into doing things like the API. We do want to do things like getting player rosters, which that can be imported, which will help alliance leaders and officers and that kind of stuff. So we are aware of it, right? Like we understand that there is time spent outside of the game. I just think we need to get a little bit better at accounting for that when we have the conversations of how much time are people spending thinking about Strike Force every day?
Yeah.
And you know,
Could you think about the people who are mentally divergent, please? Because you got them playing the game too. Quite a few of them, I would say. Quite a few people are mentally divergent that are playing this game, that are struggling in various ways in their life. And a game like this can really wreak havoc upon them. Unintentionally or intentionally, I'm not sure how aware you are of that. Should be aware of that. As you see players spending insane amounts of money on this game that they might not be able to support with their income. As you see people spending insane amounts of time on this game that might not be able to be supported by their lifestyle. Like, be aware that if it's there for us, if it's there for us to spend 4 to 6 hours on the game, we will. If you put the carrot there, there are those of us that cannot resist it. I'm one of those people. I cannot resist it. If you tell me I can blitz 8 times a day, I will blitz 8 times a day. If you tell me that if I do so many RTA attacks, I will get extra rewards, I will get every single reward. If you tell me that if I do all my war attacks, I will get more war currency, I will do all my war attacks, arena attacks, everything in the game. The events that come up with the insane amount of time that they require to complete, I will do them to completion. It is my mental divergence. It is the problem that I have, and I am not alone. And you need to take care of these players. I know you put these goals here for various reasons to reward players for the time that they are spending on the game that you consider that they're already spending on the game. But we don't want to. We might not want to give you that much, but we are unwilling in it because it is there. Please bring it back a bit. It would help because it's too much. Everyone knows it's too much. Make it less. Take care of people. Play it yourself. The best thing you can do to see how much time the game takes is to do the normal day. Do everything that's in the game for a day. See how much time that takes. You don't need to check metrics even. I mean, you can check the metrics too. You can see what the kind of screen time is going on. You're going to see, I mean, I know people send me screen time fucking reports all day from, I've seen it since day one, and it's normally 4 hours. On average, what I've seen for 3 years is like 4 hours. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's awesome. Bendable straws. Hail bendable straws.
The important thing here is like, it's not just the time spent. It's like trying to, what I care about is helping to make it part of people's, how does it fit into their daily life, right? Like I got a bunch of things that I'm interested in, you know, outside of Strike Force, you know, I love Magic the Gathering, as you can see by that, you know, big uncut sheet back there. I love rollerblading. I love, you know, spending time with my family and stuff, right? It's more of like, how can I work all this stuff into my daily life?
Look, Blitz, motherfucker. We're gonna address the elephant in the room. I mean, how the fuck are you gonna do any of that shit when you gotta be in here every 2 hours to blitz? Yeah, auto blitz is a big help, but fuck, man. Just make it fully auto. Just take out blitz. I think the whole community would be fine if blitz was like, here are my teams. Make it like one of those AFK games, right? Where you can go in, you can like adjust your roster, and then it automatically does it. We're already doing it just don't make us press the buttons anymore. Just set up the teams, and the teams run on auto. Maybe you can get more points if you manually pick the teams, right? Definitely you could, but just set it so that you can just let your roster do its fucking thing, and then everybody would calm the fuck down.
I think that's how we should really be thinking about it, right? It's not even so much as time spent in game, but making sure that it can accommodate most players.
Making it less fucking invasive. I mean, you know, I fucking love it. I love it. This is the right way to come at it. Please convey this to the developers. Please convey this to everybody down there. This is the right way to think about it. Thank you. Because he's probably tried to play it. He's probably done this. He's probably taken the game and tried to play it for a day. And this is like, I can't go rollerblading. I can't play Magic. I can't spend time with my family. This is crazy. I can't pick this up every 2 hours. Are you nuts? I can't do that. This is weird. People are doing this. People enjoy this. I can't do that. Yeah, that's the part that's wrong, is making it so invasive and so addictive. I think 3 times a day is a good rule. That's like what your energy's kind of set up to do. Wake up in the morning, do a bunch of stuff. You spend like a half hour. Easy, half hour in the morning. Lunchtime, come in again. You want my lunch break? Cool, I'll give you my lunch break. Come in there, another half hour, do all my stuff. Great. In the evening, you want some evening time. Probably a good solid hour in the evening, right? That's your 2 hours. But then that's it. That's it. And maybe if you're like a squeeze player, maybe we'll still stay up till midnight and give you a half hour at midnight, right? If you're one of these guys that's got to have everything, we'll give you that extra half hour. Sure. Blitz makes it more than that. Doubles it, actually. Morning, afternoon, evening, before bed. That's 4 logins. That's good. Blitz wants to double that to 8. That's not good. That's unacceptable. That's real simple math. I want to just boil it down to like the easiest. There's all other kinds of shit going on, but let's just make it that simple that it should be 4 logins. Morning, afternoon, evening, before bed. Great. You already know Blitz doubles that. Turns it from 4 to 8. It's too much. Just take Blitz down to 4. It's problem solved. Take everything down and try to fit it into those 4 logins. That 2.5 hours worth of time. And yeah, that way it fits into your life as well. If you're not trying to log in 8 times a day. That's too much. It's crazy. Come on.
Daily schedules.
I think that's so important, by the way. That what you just said, Cerebro, I think is so important. I'll just say this as a player speaking for a lot.
Made him want to cry.
Is that the hardest thing at the game? Like right now, I'm going to miss my arena payout because I'm interviewing you. Okay, it's going to come very soon, and I'm not going to get.
I've disrupted your daily life.
That's fine, but my point is, it shouldn't be right. It should, at least a lot of players will feel like you'll get it. I'll try to get to some of those questions. I'm trying my best to get to everyone's questions here, but I do think there's an element to which, whether it's war or raids or arena, I think that being able to choose when you could do it, I think would help players. And the other thing, somebody was saying here, I'm sure you saw some of the comments in chat where people are like, I spent 4 hours, I spent 5 hours, I spent this. Part of it is also, it may not be time where the device is on. Maybe they're constantly checking their phone for a blitz or a war attack or whatever, where, I think it potentially can create more time where they're devoted to the game than may be apparent from a statistic. I'm gonna get one thing that somebody asked in the chat that I do think I want to raise.
No, full stop here. Fuck everything else. Just deal with this. Just deal with the time issue. Who gives a shit? If the game took less time, I don't think we'd be half as mad about half the shit that we're mad about, quite honestly. It would be a happier game because it wouldn't be as disruptive to our lives. I wouldn't care how many fucking bottlenecks you had in the game or how unreasonable tier 4s were or war or any of this bullshit. If you're only expecting me to log in 4 times a day, I think I'd be just a much calmer person about this whole thing. I think everybody in this room would calm the fuck down. The whole fucking game would calm down. I don't know if they're willing to do it. I don't think this is some magic bullet or something they haven't fucking thought of. I think they want you to log in 8 times a day. They used to have it unchecked. Every 2 hours for like ever was like blitz. I mean, way back, it was more reasonable blitz. Blitz actually was reasonable back in the day. Way back. It was every 4 hours or every 6 hours. Was it every 6 hours blitz was? Way back. And that everybody was so mad when it moved to 2. And we never stopped being mad. You abused us with 2, and we've been upset ever since. Because blitzing's and hardcore blitzing is the only way to get decent shards out of blitz. Anything less than hardcore insane blitzing, and you're going to get substandard results for your blitz. It's crazy. All right, Genome, we'll see you. We'll see you later. Thank you for all your hard work. Genome's my editor. He does great work. Everybody hail Genome.
You and see if you have any comment on is, somebody asked about people leaving the game. Content creators have talked about it. Mobile Gamer and I had a video today, and he talked about it. The numbers are down and on Twitch and on YouTube, and we're having less folks there. Is this something you're seeing on your end? Is this a concern of yours? And is there anything you want to say to players about who are concerned about some of their friends leaving the game?
Sure. It's absolutely a thing. This is something that has happened, especially over the month of May. We did see, some drop off on a number of things, but caveat that happened across the industry. As people got their vaccinations and, a number of people got to, return to their daily lives, they simply don't have either the time to spend or,
yeah, I get it. The band,
they just, for example, like, when we're working, it takes me probably a solid 45 minutes to drive to work. Well, that's an hour and a half of my day, right? If right now I've got an hour and a half, but now all of a sudden I have to go back to the office, well, I just lost that hour and a half I have every day now. So, yeah, it absolutely has happened. And it's been industry wide. It's not just, it's happened with a lot of things. Is it a concern? Of course it's a concern. Absolutely it's a concern. Whenever you see numbers drop on anything, like the team comes together and like, okay, we need to identify what happened here. What can we do to try and curb this?
The game has always been unreasonable. I mean, people are waking up after COVID. That's the difference here. The game has always been unreasonable with what it wants. All of the fucking mobile games are. But this game, we're talking about Marvel Strike Force right now. So yeah, Marvel Strike Force has always been unreasonable. But right now, people are starting to realize, how much more maybe important. They miss doing things out in the world. So it's kind of just hitting a little harder. It's the time to stop. But the game has always been unreasonable. And the game is the problem. If the game wasn't unreasonable, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter if the world went back. So now is a really good time for you to maybe dial some shit back and rehook people. And then, creep it back up. Because they're going to creep it back up. When Grand Arena comes out, they're going to creep it back up. But right now, you could dial it back. You could. Maybe it'd help you. Or fuck it. Leave it the same. Who gives a shit, right? I don't know.
Yes. But, it's not like we're lower than like pre-pandemic levels, right? It's more like you saw a huge rise when the pandemic started. And you saw a drop off when a number of people now have been able to get their shots and the states have opened up. California, we can go back inside for most places now. Those two things were in lockstep with each other.
Yeah. So one thing people asked about in the chat that I don't know if you're able to answer is whether or not the team is aware of or doing anything regarding our locking in arena, locking out players in arena. Is there anything you're able to say about that? If not, I understand.
That's coming in the next patch.
Whoa, news. We're breaking news here today. Okay.
We haven't discussed it yet because we don't want to advertise, right? Look, whenever it comes to any type of like exploit, right, it's always tricky because it's like, yes, we want to address this. We do want players to know that we're aware of it, but if we message out about it, then that kind of raises the level of awareness. And then there are people that will try to take.
Okay. That's a really weird answer. Everyone knows what arena locking is. No one is doing arena locking. No one would start arena locking right now if they just found out about it today. That's weird. Definitely for the slingshot. For the zombie slingshot, yes. That was a hardcore exploit. You would not want to talk about that. People would start doing that if they understood it, not locking.
Take advantage while it still exists. So that's why we haven't talked about it. But you've probably seen it. We put it on the Envoy Discord server, right? We put this out and said, hey, here's what we're planning on doing. Do you guys think will be sufficient? And the feedback came back that this is going to be good. So for the people that are here on your stream that are the most well-informed people that are probably already aware of it, yes, I'll tell you guys right now, it's we have a fix. It's just we need a new version to come out before that new code is implemented.
Wow. All right. Well, there you go. I got a few other ones here.
I mean, it's whatever. So locking is a thing that happens in the arena. Happens in my shard. And yeah, it happens because it can. So when it can't, then it won't. And something else will happen. Will it stop arena collusion? No. Will it change it? Yeah. But yeah, unless you like totally overhaul arena won't be fixed. It'll still be, here's another big part of the 2 hours every day. Arena, no matter what, will take 1 hour from you on top of any other time that you spend in the game. If you care about it. If you care about arena, no matter how much other time you spend on the game, arena will add 1 hour, 1 full fucking hour to your routine. At a set time per day, you will be unavailable for 1 hour because of your arena. And this includes people who do not lock, like our envoy here, who's doing the talking, who is saying, I'm missing payout because I'm talking to you. He's not missing locking, I don't think. I don't think he'd admit to that, even if he did. But let's just assume that he's not locking. He still needs to be available for 1 hour every day. If you care. Every day, you have to be available for 1 hour to monitor your arena. Pretty hardcore. And do that. I think that's a whole nother thing. Okay, blitzing is one thing, and that takes a lot of time. We're not going to move off this time thing. The time thing is huge. There's a huge time sink available in this game, and if we can eliminate any of these points, it would help out greatly. One thing that takes a lot of time is looking at the fucking arena for 1 hour every day. If we could change that system around so that didn't exist, that'd be fantastic. Blitzing takes a huge amount of time every day. If we could reduce that, that'd be great. War takes a huge amount of time, even when you don't care about it. And I know they're going to try to fix this in some kind of backwards way. They're going to make more rooms available to hit at one time, which will make things better. However, on the same note, I believe they're adding more rooms, making it take longer to clear. So, 1 step forward, 2 steps back on that. But yeah, crazy. Oh, we have a report here in the chat that our envoy here does do some locking. It's fine. Good if he does locking. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you lock in the arena? It's available. So do it. Make friends and lock. Good. Now what you're going to have to do is make friends and watch each other's back. Make friends and make an agreement on who gets number 1 so you don't waste your cores on each other like fucking idiots and assholes. Don't be idiots and assholes in the arena. Make friends. Friendship is magic. Make friends with everybody though. Don't intentionally lock people out because, you're in a different alliance or some bullshit like that. I've been accused of that. My top 5 in the arena is like always my alliance because I played with these guys for 3 years and they're my friends. Not because we've taken over the fucking alliance shard. We've been here for 3 years. We just now play together in the same fucking alliance. But yeah, plenty of people know from my fucking stream. They find out what arena shard I'm in and they're like, hey, Heartgrave, can I come hang out? I'm like, fuck yeah, come hang out. We'll get to know you. Because it makes more sense to work together than to fucking use cores and knock each other back and forth and try to measure yardsticks on each other. Who gives a fuck? I just want the most cores. Not by being number 1, but by, divvying it up. I'll take 1 today. You take 1 tomorrow. I'll take 1 the next day. Switch it up. Make a system. Make a spreadsheet. Spend some more fucking time on the game. Who knows? But that's the best way to do it. My arena shard, we average 350 cores a day. Everybody we talk, there's 10, 20 fucking guys like most arena shards. And that's what we're going to continue to do that. Locking, no locking, doesn't fucking matter. Make some friends. The only people who are not mad about this just don't know how OP friendship is. Friendship is crazy OP in this game. Raids, maximize your friendship values and you're going to do better. Arena, maximize your friendship score. You just want to spec into friendship, spec into your charisma, and you're going to do so much better in the game than if you just ignore your charisma stat and you like go all like, aggro. You're not going to do as well. You're going to waste a lot more cores that way. I'm telling you, spec into charisma and go for that friendship perk, and you're going to do so much better.
I'm going to try to get to questions. I know there's been a lot of questions in the chat. I'm trying to get ones here. This is a question I said is one thing that
Look, I'm going to be an asshole as much as I want to be, but I'm not an asshole to the people that I play the game with, especially not directly. Not the people I'm not an asshole. Everybody's welcome. Some people don't want to fucking talk. They think that they can take the number one spot and beat us. That's what they think. So they don't decide to work with us. I can't help them. I don't want to be a dick to them. But they're getting in the way of the friendship, man. So what the fuck are you going to do? You're either going to be a friend or not be a friend. I don't help people who don't fucking talk to me. You can literally just click on people and make friends with them and talk to them. You don't have to be a dick. Like, hey, are you guys like colluding or whatever? Yeah, no, we're talking to each other. Oh, can I talk to you too? Yeah. That's our attitude towards it. So I don't know what's going on in your fucking shard, but I don't see how that's being an asshole. If anyone can literally become my friend from my arena shard, say, hey, Hargrave, what's up? Are you guys talking to each other? And I can go, yeah, you want to talk too? And they go, yeah. How the fuck is that being an asshole? As opposed to the guy who's like, no, I demand that these guys who are in the same alliance together all beat each other up all fucking day and give their cores to Scopely instead of work out a system where they get an even amount of cores for everybody in the group daily. Fuck them. This should be about competition in a game that is absolutely pay to win. How the fuck does that work out? How the fuck does that work out? Maybe if the game was balanced, I would feel differently, but it's not. It's absolutely pay to win. The reason why it pays to have friends and work with each other in the arena is because any day now, your arena team could be made useless and your advantage could be entirely gone. I mean, as it is already, anybody can beat any team in the arena. Nobody has really any hardcore advantage. You can punch up like 100, 200K with Infinity Watch. Fuck that. Just work together. Stop wasting cores. If you're just constantly fighting for the number one spot, you're probably losing at least 200 cores a day instead of just talking to people. And you're putting yourself through more stress and more screen time. It would really be to everyone's advantage if the people who are most active get together, work it out, and come up with a system so everybody kind of takes an equal share of what's at the top. You're probably looking at about 350 cores a day as opposed to this imaginary 500 a day, which you would never get. No one can just hold number one all day. That's crazy. It doesn't happen.
Stakes have now been raised for alliances with the teal gear. And there's, I think, a concern not only between people within is my alliance going to be able to get teal gear or not? Am I going to have to switch alliance?
Yeah, this was big from the roadmap where they dropped. Everybody got so pissed off that tier 16 was only going to be on Doom 2. So yeah.
Alliances, and then also within an alliance, hey, who's going to get this node? Who's going to finish at this level to get this teal gear?
Fuck that alliance, by the way, that he's talking about. I know that actually happens in Pants of Hulk. That the number one alliance, they're assholes about that. I don't know why. That's crazy. That you don't have to be that way. Don't be that way. Don't pick at each other like that. Who gets what fucking raid node? Who gets spot number one? I really love how they have equalized the number of T4s so that everybody gets the same amount. Thank you for that. That was actually I give credit where credit's due. Whoever decided that needed, I think that was actually Cerebro right here. When he asked for more T4s, they gave everybody in the alliance more T4s, no matter where you place in the raid. That's the right way to do it. That way you don't get that whole the rich get richer bullshit that goes on. We don't need that. Give everybody the same T-Force. Who gives a fuck?
Is Scopely concerned about the impact that this is going to have on alliances, both between alliances, and then within alliances, and in terms of upping the stakes for alliance raids and what the rewards are?
Sure. So I think the first thing, I've seen the comments, right? Like, why is Scopely trying to kill my alliance? That's not our goal.
All right. This is my thumbnail today, and let me explain. All right. It's not your goal, but if you're doing it, if the changes that you make do that, it doesn't matter if it's your goal. Your inability to care and recognize the things that would break up an alliance are still a problem.
Right. We're not trying to kill your alliance.
Yeah, that's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. Just because you're not trying to do it. Yeah, no shit. You're not trying. Yeah, I'm not. Who the fuck would be doing that? Oh, we're actively gonna try to break up alliances and get people to quit the game. Yeah, no shit. No one said that. But the changes you're making with such fucking ignorance about how alliances work, how leaders and captains give up so much of their lives to make your game work, not paying attention to that, and not being cognizant of that, and not being aware of it is worse than if you were trying. It's worse. I understand it less. Care that you might break up alliances with your fucking announcements and changes. Care. Why not? That's your game. If your alliances break up, if there is alliance discontent, people will quit. They'll break the spell the game has and they will fucking quit.
But I could absolutely see why the people would have some of the reactions that they've had, because we said that this is the primary way that you're going to earn teal gear, but we didn't say well, here are also some other ways. So that's something that I directly need to. There's a couple of points that came from the blog that I need to talk with the team about. We need to have a discussion and find out how we're going to address those concerns. That's one of them. That's one of the big ones right there. Is how else can we talk about teal gear? How can we try and reassure people and hopefully they'll not just blow up their alliances. And the second one is the proposed changes to real-time arena. We want for there to be more of a reward for winning, feeling like you have to win.
All right, so we quickly moved off of. I don't know why we moved off of killing alliances to RTA so fast. That's really weird. I guess we're just getting distracted. This is really weird. I wonder if Scopely has considered the internal alliance feuding over raid nodes for more teal gear. That's we're creating shit before it happens. We're getting weird. Because I guess it's not going to be on the nodes itself. They're talking about, are you going to fight for the number one spot so that you get an extra teal gear orb per raid? That's so weird. The fight here is that if your alliance cannot run the Doom 2, you will leave your alliance because you want tier 16. That you're misunderstanding the actual problem. The actual problem is that when you put a high-level goal out of reach of the common player, they will strive for the goal, and if that goal can't be obtained by the full alliance, that will break up the alliance, as many alliances are being carried by high-level players. The ultimate solution to this is to make sure that all players in the alliance are able to contribute evenly. And the way to do that is to, number one, not institute a level 5 green ISO problem into the whole mix. That fucked things up a lot. A lot. Now that you've done that, you need to increase further the green ISO so that you can enable lower members to catch up to people who are spending. The people who are spending and the hardcore players are carrying their alliances, and you have made it very desirable for them to move up right now. You've created a horrible fucking internal strife problem with the green ISO level 5. You really have. So you've done that. It's your problem. You should fix it. But you made the problem, and you made it from ignorance. So you need to work on that. Work on not doing that. Learn about how alliances work. Look at how the players are. It doesn't work the way you think it would, because friendship gets in the way of things. A lot of times people make friends and they're playing with players that they really shouldn't be playing with, like in sheer mathematic terms. The higher you go up towards the top, the more it kind of works out more mathematically. The high-level players are playing together. That's why they're at the top. Down at the bottom, those alliances are really going to put a lot of strain on each other. And people are going to leave and move around a lot because you don't make the friendship aspect. I mean, one way you can fix this is by making raid lanes more friendly. Have more crossover so that people can help each other and carry weaker members. That would be like the beta raid is the only raid that is designed properly as far as raid nodes go. And you might know this if you talk to like a leader or captain instead of relying upon word clouds and whatnot. Because not a lot of people are even going to know that the beta raid is actually the best designed raid map that allows for the most crossover and assistance, which is something that helps keep alliances together instead of splitting them apart. Knowing that you can get an easy 30% on a raid by putting all 8 players in the middle is something you should know and highlight in the game to assist lower alliances to get 30% easier. Make that known that that's a strategy. Make it easier to do. Instruct. I mean, that's what we do as content creators, but we're kind of doing your job for you. So you're welcome.
In the match. But there's also been a lot of people that have been vocal about that they don't like that. They don't think it should switch from traits to knockouts and wins. Mm-hmm. So those are the two big pieces of critique that have come from the blog that we're going to discuss, and hopefully we'll get a good path forward.
I think
curious about RTA. I think it's going to be worse. It's going to be fine for me. It's going to suck for everybody in the mid game. New players are really going to get fucked over by the RTA changes. When you limit traits, you just limit a whole lot of good characters, and you're probably going to get into a situation where you have like literally no good characters, no built characters. And then that's going to force you into, making some bad decisions. Building characters just for real-time arena, that's not going to be good.
I think that's fair. And I think people wanted to know whether you were hearing that criticism, that feedback. This is one I will just say, this is an example. I pulled this as an example that I don't think you need to even necessarily say more unless you want to, but this was an example where, hey, this essentially is a player. It's like, he's on a mid-tier alliance, and there's always been individual goals and alliance goals. That's been a strength of the game. When his alliance is suffering, what does he do? Does he have to leave his alliance in order to continue progression, right? I think that's one flavor of this concern. I'm trying to approach it from different angles to represent different groups of players, but you get the idea, right? And that I think is, he's concerned about that. And then this is another one, strain on alliances. I think you already talked about that issue, which is just he doesn't want his progress limited by that. I will say, I think,
my main problem with all this is that you don't have the tools in game. Like, it's really fucked up that I don't have the tools in game to make this easy, and you don't have the API access that you need to make this easy. As a leader and a captain, to figure out raid lanes, like your alliance right now can do better on your raids. My alliance could, so yours could. I know for a fact. Unless you've invested like a huge, crazy amount of time, right now, your alliance could do better on the Doom raid. Probably any raid, but especially on the Doom. Because you could optimize your lanes for the players that have the right ISOs today, because even if you did it like last week, it's different now today, so that you could get a higher percentage. But we have no tools in game to handle that. I can't tell what ISOs you have on your characters. I can't look at your roster. You can't specify to me what you have and what you don't, other than with like hours of communication over Discord with 23 fucking people. Like, it's crazy. I'd have to make like subcommittees and devote spreadsheets and hours of time and upkeep, which would eat into even more people's real lives, because you don't develop an in-game tool, because you've created a problem. The ISO cap creates such a fucking problem. You had no idea, because you don't play the fucking game, how much of a problem it was. I had to find out that I was the only one in my alliance who had mutant ISO. I was like the only one. Nobody else had it. So what do you do then? Then no, I got to keep tabs on 23 people and find out who builds it first? And what you end up doing is just throwing people on lanes and go, fucking deal with it, noob. Which is not friendly. But, who's got the time? Finding out for the fucking Gamma who has fucking Pim and Wakanda. Because who has Pim and Wakanda? Seriously, I want to know. Who the fuck has Pim and Wakanda? This shit's crazy. Help us do this in game, or don't put us in these situations. Give us crossover. If we had the crossover, if raids were like one line, right? This is really simplified. It doesn't have to be this way, but I'm just saying, if raids were one fucking line, like a Dark Dimension, right? Do. Everybody had to go along the same way. Well, then everybody could help each other out. Oh, I'm the guy with the mutant team. Well, cool. I'll do this node. Boom, done. I don't have skill. Oh, I do. Boom, done. The teamwork aspect of it. Friendship is magic. Hey, I like this game. That'd be fun. I still got to communicate a lot through Discord and all that shit, but at least it's obvious. Like, you could do it without, because it would be like, oh, Heartgrave did the fucking mutant node. Oh, now there's a skill node. Well, he never does the skill node, so I guess I'll do it, because I guess he doesn't have skill team. You can work it out like that. Like the beta raid, you would have to try so hard to miss a node. You have to try so hard to fuck up the beta raid. That's how it should be. It should be really hard to fuck up. The Gamma is so easy to fuck up. People fuck it up all the time. They just miss a node because it's so easy to miss. And you can't help anybody. You get stuck. No heals. You throw no heal raids in with no understanding of how much internal struggle that's going to cause an alliance for a guy that is used to just relying upon heals. Now they can't. I mean, no heal raids. A whole bunch of people fucking dropped out of the game when that shit dropped because they just couldn't be bothered. Fuck that. I'm not doing that. Holy shit, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, screenshot your entire fucking roster and upload it every day. Madness, what we're talking about here. It's crazy.
Part of what has happened, and this started with Silver Surfer, is just that by increasing the importance of certain raids, there are some alliances that are like groups of real life friends where you have some people who are more advanced and some people who aren't, for example. And you have a situation where some parts of the alliance can do the Doom raid and some parts can't. It creates maybe something you didn't intend, which is an alliance having some issues. So I know you already addressed it, and I don't want to necessarily go through that again, but I appreciate the fact that you've heard that feedback.
Yeah, I got to get a number of people, in a chat to discuss this. So, I promise you it will be discussed. I just don't have any further details or answers right now.
I appreciate it. By the way, everyone has to understand, if he doesn't know the questions, and
I feel like we're not getting that. You need to open that conversation up with leaders and captains and people that really understand what's going on. Like really high level leaders and captains need to convey what kind of problems we're having, like smart people. Okay. This is why you got to talk to more than one person. You got to really talk to a lot of different people. Like talk to them. Not word clouds and this shit. Like talk to people. Talk to the players. Communicate verbally.
he's just frankly, it's a difficult job to be taking these rapid fire things. I appreciate you doing that. I only have 2 more queued up, so let me go through those.
Like, stop apologizing. It's like literally his job is to do this. It's like actually his job. Like, no, I appreciate him too, but like this is like something he hasn't done enough of that he needs to do more of. Like, it's more of this. This is the thing. Like, what else do you make strike time videos that I personally fucking hate? I don't think people enjoy those. They're all right, but they're not as good as this. This is better. Strike time should be this. You answering community questions. Do that. Do that. We're adults, you know? Treat us as such.
So one thing is, you know, it would, and then, okay, so I think this is really along the same lines. I want to reach this a lot because I got so many comments along these lines. One thing I will just say is, one thing, feedback I will give you is that one thing that is jarring to players right now is a new player can get through DD2, DD3, DD4 and kind of blow through those with orange gear. And now they're kind of like, then it's something like, okay, now what do I do? Right now I hit a wall, and it's a bit of an adjustment. And now, okay, now I need teal gear. I've got to join alliance that does doom raids and so on and so forth. And maybe that's what the game intends, but it's definitely a shift. And, you know, I think the way the players view this is, you know, they're concerned about now being in a spot where they need to have a competitive alliance in order to progress. So I appreciate you acknowledging that concern and getting folks together on that. The last thing that I was going to raise is, and this is, I thought, kind of a fun question because I never considered this. This guy had some good questions. Now I realize, I didn't even realize I was picking out questions I thought were interesting. I got a couple from the same guy. But he says he wants to know, is DD...
Good job there, Envoy. I'm glad you gave one person a voice. Thank you.
DD5 the end of the road? Because Dormammu is the big bad of...
Why are we picking this question? Look, I don't want to give that the time of fucking day. I'm not interested in that. I understand this.
Well, I will just say to you guys, you know, I'm saying this to you specifically, Cerebro. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on here and answer my questions. And really, you could tell they weren't mine; they were the community's. I put a lot.
All right, yeah, I'm good. This has been wonderful. It is very, very late, much later than I normally go to. Thank you for hanging out with me while we did this. Yeah, this is a good start. It's a good start. He needs to do it more. Needs to happen more, everybody. Needs to happen more. Needs to happen. Needs to happen more. Needs to happen with more. Needs to happen with non-envoys, quite honestly. Needs to happen with people that are going to talk to you. And it doesn't have to happen live on Twitch. You can talk to them anywhere. You don't have to talk to them. It's great to do it live on Twitch to have a bigger audience. To let some of this information out, to let us know you give a shit. That's great. That's fantastic. And maybe you should answer to some of the shit that, you know, you say in, you know, when you go on to these live fucking events. Like, don't do this so much. You know, where you just come out and just fucking tell people that Drax is good. We don't need that at all. That paints a very different picture of what you do. Leave that to someone else, or get us someone new that is willing to put in, you know, the time to do this, or is hired to do this. And hey, if you want to talk to Mr. Hartgrave, Mr. Hartgrave is here. Anyways, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate all the grave diggers. We'll be back Monday at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. We normally have a special guest. I think we'll have a very special guest this Monday, so make sure you come back for that. You can trust me. Hail Hartgrave.